What's up, guys?
Guys.
Welcome back to episode 3 of the Washed Up podcast with my guests here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks
I'm
for
doing
that
that
one.
again.
Thanks for having me
Yeah.
on.
Thanks
No
for having me
worries.
back.
No,
Third time in a row.
No, my name's Zach Baldy. I'm here with my co-host Breny right here.
Are we actually just going?
And
Yeah,
Adam.
we're going.
100%.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
All
no.
right.
Yeah, no, we're doing this. And I want to start off today's podcast. Just
Oh, hang on. My
Yeah.
name's Adam,
I'm
by
Brendan.
the way.
I introduced you guys.
No,
I feel like I
you
did.
introduced Breny. You didn't
Oh, did
introduce
I?
me.
That's
Wow.
because you're a
You
guest.
caught me off guard.
Well, no, we're here with my two co-hosts. I'm here with Breny Beast right here.
Hello.
And here with Adam Reed from Living 4x4.
What's going on?
Returning
Scones.
guests.
Returning guests. They're going to be here every week. But basically, I just want to start off today's podcast because I quickly just saw something before the podcast, and it is absolutely disgusting. You know how Australians come up...
And I'm scared.
You know how Australians
see
come
what's
up
on your
with
screen.
stupid flavors for stuff? Like, what's the most dumb, like, confectionery flavor you've ever seen? Like the Smith's, you know, like tomato sauce chips
those
and stuff
weird
like
Yeah,
that.
that was
Yeah.
that was a weird
Yeah.
I totally dug the salted caramel phase. Just making
Yeah,
salted caramel everything, and the caramel milk. I don't care if it has plastic in it. It tastes nice.
Does it have plastic in
Yeah,
it?
they had to recall it.
Oh,
that's good, yeah.
I've had so much of that stuff.
Yeah.
Man.
Built on plastic.
Alright,
Well,
go on.
You remember how they make stupid things like to be Australian, they have like the Vegemite chocolate
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yep.
I have found the new worst thing that I've ever seen come onto Australian shelves. It is the you know, the hot cross buns. You know how it's like it should be illegal for them to be sold anytime before, you know, 2 weeks out of Easter.
Yep.
Introducing special burger sauce hot cross buns.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Special
weird.
burger sauce hot cross bun.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's like Big Mac sauce, yeah? Because everyone's
Yeah,
saying
it's like
Surely
Big Mac
not.
sauce.
I don't like the
Big Mac,
sauce.
sauce, special burger sauce. Like special burger sauce hot cross buns.
What do you mean?
That's
It's-
delicious.
I'll tell you
No.
another one that I
Yeah.
came across.
What, hot cross buns or a weird
No,
mix?
another weird mix.
Yeah.
So you know SPC?
SPC.
Baked beans?
What's
and
that?
The baked beans and spaghetti?
Yeah, I only know that from like that
Baked
rhyme.
beans and
Yeah.
spaghetti and Vegemite.
Oh,
In a can.
yeah.
Like this is a
in a can.
It's like a pre-sold thing. Like,
Yeah, no,
not
sorry.
not you
Do you guys
combine it
like
at home.
Vegemite?
I do. Yeah.
I do.
I dig it. I
Yeah.
dig it.
I mean, that's not too
I
bad.
don't think I'd want it with beans or
Yeah,
spaghetti.
yeah. I used to have Vegemite
Yeah.
on toast with egg on top, though, scrambled egg.
Did you ever try the
It's actually
Vegemite
fire.
chocolate?
No.
Well, I literally
Ew.
just spoke about it.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah.
I may have actually tried it. Actually,
I tried it once and it wasn't great at
Mm.
all. It's tragic.
everyone has one piece, and then the rest of the block goes into the bin.
But basically, yeah.
I just
Yeah.
want to know, like, how do they, so there had to have been a meeting at some point.
Mhm.
They're like,
Mhm.
you know what? We're gonna combine Vegemite and spaghetti.
Yeah, that's a. And no one's like.
No one's like, I don't know about that. That's a little bit off. Like,
Everyone's like, yes, 100% we are doing this,
Yeah.
and it's gross. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
who
going
in the
on?
board of 12 people went, you know what? Special burger sauce and,
and
hot cross buns.
It's gonna fly off the shelving.
Well, obviously, one of my friends
that
bought it.
I had the hot cross buns with caramel milk because, like I said, I like the caramel milk.
That sounds good.
That-
Yeah,
though.
but that
That's
sounds
a-
that
yeah,
sounds
that's
like
a
it
mix
makes
that
sense.
makes sense.
Yeah.
But there's
Am
so
I
many
getting
that
the
don't.
fucking hot cross bun, chucking a patty in the middle, and then eating it? That's
Feel
like
like
the
making
similar
a
thing.
salad sandwich with a hot cross bun. You just don't do it.
Oh, what you basically had that for lunch, mate.
What am I? Let's not talk about what Sarah made. Look, she's getting there. She's doing her best.
I would have ate it if you gave it to me and said, "Do you want my lunch?"
Yeah,
If
do
I
you-
didn't have my own,
Would you call it a soup?
I don't know what I would call it. It was
was
a dense pastry with
It's
vegetables.
a dinner
Yeah.
cake.
Dinner cake.
Yeah, dinner cake.
Is that an actual name? That sounds like
I
something
don't
you
know.
Google. That
I don't
sounds
know.
very. That is the name of that now.
Dinner cake. Yeah.
We're starting a new savoury treat.
A dinner cake soup. Yeah, something like that. I don't know exactly what it is, but yeah, she's doing her best. She did a good job.
I apologize. This has become roast Sarah. I didn't
Yeah.
even intend for that. But episode 3 now.
Episode 3 out of 7 because of Sarah. We also are limited to 7 episodes before we can. I don't know where I'm going
Well,
with
they're
that. but
quitting on
yeah.
A.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why, as Zach brought up earlier, we have the price tag still on these chairs.
Yeah,
Just
so-
getting that
Return
$8 back.
Yeah, so we can refund these chairs. We should have kept the tags on all the.
No,
iPhones
no,
and
that
everything.
was straight ripped off. We were too excited.
Yeah, no, that sucked. But, oh well.
Anyway, we do have some exciting news.
Welcome to
within
the
group.
automotive podcast.
Yeah, where we talk
Yeah,
about
where we
this.
talk about
food.
cars and stuff.
No, we do have some exciting news. Breny over here, the proud
Hey,
owner.
this is where we're going.
Yeah, the proud owner of a new Starlet.
Of 2 stars.
Get the Libby
Oh,
fingers
Limmy
going.
fingers up.
So I thought no one's gonna care about a star. Like, oh,
Mm.
you got a Starlet, who cares? So I thought you could actually mention how fun that car is and the laughs in the small few times you've gone in it
Mm.
with me and pinched it from me.
Yeah.
And the fuel economy, right?
The fuel economy does blow me away,
Yeah.
to be honest. But
Coming from a four-wheel driver.
yeah, the fuel
Legit.
economy of any car blows me away. I'm like, what do you mean?
The RX-7 's
20
great on
litres per
fuel.
100? That's amazing. What the fuck?
Pretty much. No, the Starlet, if for those who don't know what a Starlet is, it's a very small car. It makes
Yeah.
not a
No.
lot of power. It's 2-door.
There are 4-door models.
Is there 4 doors?
I kind of want a 4-door one because I
No.
could picture imagine rolling 4 deep in that, going up a hill.
But literally, like, Breny could be cruising at like 60 k's an hour and put his foot all the way down and nothing changes.
You don't notice it.
It's just, it revs and then I'm like, I'm not going any faster.
I drive with Zach to Adam's house because Adam finishes work before us, and up a lot of the hills, I have that like gotta go down a gear just to like go up the hill.
You drive that thing like
I
crazy though.
love
You
it, bro.
love it. Yeah.
I love it. I'm like hill towing just for fun. It's a good car.
Because you don't use any fuel doing it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I got 550 to a tank the other day,
Did you
and that's
really?
how I drive it.
How big's the
Do you-
tank?
do you-
Like 2
yeah,
litres?
I was going to say, do you know how big the tank is?
I wouldn't have a clue.
Take a guess.
Yeah,
so we
take a
got
guess.
530 k's to a tank.
558, mate.
558.
That's my
And
new
it's
record.
and it's a 1 litre, isn't it? Like 1 litre
I
engine.
think they're 1.4.
1.4.
Ooh, that's a big man.
1.44
I thought you were
litre.
the Starlet connoisseur. I would have thought you would know the
honestly,
literage of your
the
engine.
biggest impulse purchase of my life, as well as my second one, which we'll get into.
I reckon maybe like 35, 40 litres, maybe.
Bang
He's
on,
banged
mate.
Is it really?
He's banged
Professional,
it. 35.
35.
Yeah,
Yeah,
banged
okay.
it.
I just thought that they were that small. I don't think anything bigger
So
would fit.
I like
but-
fill it up, and I'm like, it gets to 34 liters, and I'm like, God, another liter. I could have got this to 600, like trying to stretch it out. But I also, old cars, you don't want to be like playing
Yeah.
with the trust
Yeah.
of the
exactly
needle.
right.
But yeah, the other day I was looking at engines and gearboxes because my one's a bit, hey, how you going? And then some guy was trying to sell me one for $1,000 with a blown engine. And so I'm like, you know what? That sucks. And Jai's like, hey, there's this one for $1,200, a whole car. So I text my partner and I'm like, hey, you want to go buy another Starlet? And she took a sec to reply. So in that time, I already had told the person I'm purchasing.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's- She literally messaged you back. It says it's sold already. And
Yeah.
who was it sold to?
It was sold to us. Congratulations.
But she was so upset. She's like, I would have loved to, but
Yeah.
it's already sold.
Yeah. You know what? It would be really funny if she was like, oh, I'm sorry, babe, we can't get another one. It already sold. Like, actually really happy about that because, I'm just like, hey, babe, you want to go Harvey's in this car that I want? Yeah. And so we went and picked it up, and it was about 2.5 hours away. I saw Jai on the way. That was weird, considering like I knew he was going that way, but the odds of our path crossing was really weird.
Yeah,
He was
Jai's the
doing
guy
his,
we work
like-
with, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jai, we work with Jai. He was doing his like stunt driving.
Yeah,
stuff.
Jai's a stunt driver. So if you want to, you want to have a fourth guest.
100%.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, legit. Yeah, I reckon we have him on one time because he's got some cool stories. he's got some cool friends.
He's a very
cool
interesting
friends.
lad. I do really enjoy working with Jai. But yeah, I saw him on the way back, and I'm like, Siri, call Jai. I'm driving. I'm like, Jai, I saw you. And he's like, yeah, right. and then I hung up and cried. No, so we go. It was really weird. That, like, the guy's partner put the car up. So I rock up there, I text like, hey, I'm here. And the guy comes out and I'm like, you are not person we won't name. The only thing I will name is they had a child around the time of Game of Thrones. What do you think their
Oh,
child's
no.
name was?
Oh no, there's so many options.
It's a pretty typical one. I think like it would be the first to come to your brain.
Oh.
I don't know.
No, you're just gonna have to.
Khaleesi.
Oh, really?
which is so gangsta. But I'm also like, yeah,
Really?
I'm not gonna do that. But it's cool, you know.
Sorry, Starlet owner watching this podcast
Yeah.
right now. Just make
Sorry
it
if you do stumble upon this. I think it's cool, but I just wouldn't, you know.
Sorry, all the Khaleesi's out there.
Yeah.
My
No, but it
apologies.
just meant because like it was a big thing, and like people
Hmm.
are calling their kids after Game of Thrones, and I'm like, nah,
See,
are
I
they
don't-
really?
I didn't realize that was a real thing. I
Yeah,
thought it was
I
just
meant-
the media. They find
No.
like one person.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
this was the one
That's
person.
the one, yeah, little Khaleesi. Oh, I'm Khaleesi, and I'm like, it's child's talk, like full, like you know, little 7-year-old. Now that Game of Thrones is that old. Anyway, the guy was really nice, really like genuine guy. He came out through like his back shed, and there was like 18 cars stripped in the backyard, and I'm like, oh, I'm so happy I checked that this wasn't stolen, because like it just, the situation looks dodgy, but they were so nice, and like he's like, oh, I'll take you to the servo to get a thing of fuel for it. And I'm like, all right. Thinking, oh, maybe the servo's like a kilometer away and it doesn't have a kilometer in it. It was 100 meters down the road. Like, surely this car would have made it that far. But yeah, we went and filled it up with fuel. And then I went to the servo and I took it for a test drive. When I was driving, it was like, yeah, like doing that wheel squeal sound. And I just instantly, because I'm a qualified mechanic, was like, oh, tire pressure. It's been sitting in the backyard for a while, you know? So I air it up and then just jump straight on the freeway. Oh, side quest though, side quest. I jumped straight on the freeway with Maggie, and she's in our current Starlet, which has got coilovers and has been won-overed by us. It's quite a nice.
You didn't crash this time?
Quite a nice Starlet. No, I did want to bump her though. I was like we're coming up to lights, and I'm like, I should just hit
Do
her.
I do
like,
it?
imagine being in the car and just watching these two little cars into each other. But yeah, like Maggie flies through this roundabout on the inside of a truck, which is probably 80 kilometers because let's face it, it's a Starlet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, all right, like I should be able to keep up. But it's not like we're hooning or anything. Like it's just you flowing through a roundabout nicely. And the car's like, like steering not the right direction. I'm like, oh my God. And yeah, so it has something wrong at the front end where if I hit a bump, it's like terrible bump steer. I kind of want to say it doesn't have a sway bar. It feels like the wheels are just doing whatever it wants.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole 2.5 hours home, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like full focus, like keep this car on the road. And I wanted to pull over and check it out, but it was already really dark and I was day passing at home.
Because you got it home at like, what, 10 p.m. or something?
11?
Yeah.
So much later than what you said you were going to
Yeah,
do.
so I had a housewarming I went to in the day, and I'm like, yeah. And then by the time I got the car, spoke to the guy, went over the car, took it for a test drive. Oh, and the brakes don't work. He's like, yeah, you'll just need to bleed the brakes. I'm like, so you fit new brakes? Because he's like, yeah, it's got new brakes all around. You just need to bleed them. I'm like, I'm about to drive.
What a classic! What a classic!
You're doing like they're like that's the other thing. I'm coming on the inside of this truck with no brakes, no steering. But yeah, so one thing that actually happened is when we drove out, I noticed the brakes were crap, and I wanted to set up my phone, maybe put my little phone magnet in the car and whatnot. There was a lake there, and I'm like, oh, we'll go to this lake. You know, maybe take a photo of the car and whatnot, get all set up, head home. I go into the lake. We did all that stuff, and as we're heading out, cops are rolling in. I'm like, oh, here we go. I had literally driven this car 122 meters, and I got pulled over. And they were very polite. I think at the start they were really like, because like they drove past now like really slow, and I think they ran the other Starlet's number plate and saw Brendan. And then saw
a female
Maggie in the car, and then saw the next car with no rego. And so I don't, they pulled it. They were just doing their due diligence. I can never say that word.
Due diligence? Is that how you say it?
Don't know.
Can't Google it.
I always try to say it, but I never.
Due diligence.
Due diligence.
I'd say they were just doing their job.
Yeah, they were just doing their job. I always try to say it though. I've legit done this like 8 times. Yeah, and they pulled me over, and I really wanted a photo, getting pulled over in it. I'm like, Max, take a photo. And she's like, yeah. And And then she didn't take a photo and she misheard me. I think she said, like, thought I said, like, get ready to go or something. And so I get home and I'm like, I've resentfully done this long drive. And I'm like, you didn't take a photo. Like, it would have been funny as, you know?
Aw.
But yeah, this engine is super healthy. The gearbox feels amazing. I've got this big, like, do I register that one and put all the cool stuff from my one in that one? Or do I keep my one and have this spare one? I don't really know. I didn't buy it for a reason. It was just a good deal.
So you're taking it to the track or anything? Oh, come on.
Well, actually, on our mountain run here, that I was like, there's a few Winton days coming up. The
There
Sylvia's, I have a Sylvia, by the way, not just a Starlet. I promise I'm not the car guy. Like,
which
you're my
one do you
Starlet.
prefer more, though? Let's be honest.
Cars?
Yeah.
I have a lot of fun. I think shit boxes are the most fun cars.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah,
The
probably.
amount of times I've cried of laughter in when I had a Cressy, when I had an old Ford something.
Yeah, so you've had
EL.
Starlets. I had an EK1. He's had a Troopy.
Yeah.
Like all shit boxes. that we-
Yeah.
The burner car. Well, you had that really yellow RX-7.
Oh, the
Yeah.
RX-7, the
Yeah.
shit
I mean,
box.
you,
Yeah.
you just love shitboxes so much that you bought another one.
I know. It's great.
Yeah, no,
That's brilliant.
I definitely think you have the most fun. Like, going around the track in the Sylvia's like, oh, yeah, it did pretty good. But going around the track in the Starlet would be
Yeah.
like, ah! Like,
Yeah,
you-
because you feel like you're going to die
Yeah.
at any point whatsoever.
I really want to
Yeah.
know how fast you can get in the Starlet.
I dead set think I'm happy for us to all take the Starlet and do Winton Day.
That sounds like
It's
fun.
cheap, bang
Yeah.
for buck. You know,
100%.
one of us has got a GoPro going all the time. You'll bring the old
Let's
BRZ
do the
and
let's
doing
do the
laptop.
budget
Yeah.
enduro.
I'm
in
not
the
doing
Starlet.
the budget enduro.
Well,
Let's-
why not?
I don't know. I don't really know what the budget enduro is.
It's
I thought it was.
6 hours in a car, and you have 6 drivers. So you
Wait,
do a
wait.
1 hour stint. Yeah,
Is this the one
Yeah.
you did the video of?
yeah.
I am not doing that. I saw
Why
you.
not?
That car was like, and you're like,
Oh
coming
yeah,
up.
100. It's going to be sitting on limiter
I am
basically the
not
entire
letting
time.
you do that to
Why
my
not?
car. I will disrespect the crap out of that car, but not as much as you were in that car. Definitely.
You have to disrespect them. It's a race car. Starlets were built with race pedigree behind them.
You're going down the straight, sitting at like 7,000 revs instead
Yeah.
of just changing up gear, even though you have to do a 135 lap time.
Yeah.
So you could have just changed up gear and downshifted to keep the car running cooler.
Hell no, you got to go 10 tenths the entire time and then
Yeah.
back off at the start finish.
Yep.
Sure.
No, but I was in a Honda. I had a Honda Accord Euro, so it was a K24 or something. I would say that a Toyota is more reliable than a Honda, and I would say that the Starlet could potentially make it.
I would
reckon.
say my current daily Starlet right now, not the healthiest engine, not the healthiest gearbox.
See, that's perfect then, because it'll be worn, it'll be ready to do. How many hours have you
Should be
driven this
broken
car
in.
in its life?
I have only owned the Starlet for like 2-3 months, like not
All right,
Yeah, it
2 to
hasn't
3
been that
months. And
long.
how long do you drive to work?
So I've driven that car so much. I've run
So-
like 15,000 k's
Like
through or
what?
something.
30 minutes to and from work? Like to work?
22 exactly. but
22
they put
exactly.
speed bumps in my favorite area, so it's going to be like 24.
Oh, right.
now.
So that's 40 minutes a day, times that by, I don't know. So in about 2 weeks, you do about, what you reckon, 6 hours of driving roughly?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, there you go. It's already driven longer than 6 hours. I'm sure it'll survive the enduro. It's no it's
I
no
just
stress.
don't. All right, you do the enduro in your car, and Adam and I will do
No,
the
it's,
Starlet.
it's more expensive than 4K. That's the issue.
Is it?
It is.
It doesn't have to be.
I mean, it doesn't have to be, but yeah.
I'll buy it off you for less than 4K. There you go.
They have rules like that. Is the budget enduro? Because like I always wanted to do. I swear it was Nugget Nationals or Shitbox.
Shitbox
They would
Rally.
just punish you and make you do dumb little challenges like in the middle of racing. Do they
Isn't
do
it?
that
Isn't
stuff?
it shitbox
they do
rally?
it in 24 hours of lemons.
That
They-
one.
yeah.
Yeah, I want to
Oh.
do that.
Yeah,
But
that's
you
so-
need a cage, don't you?
No, you do. You need to have tires, cage, bucket seat, and all that sort of stuff, which isn't in the cost of the car.
Which is so much more than the cost of the
Yeah.
$500 car.
It's $1,000 car straight up. So
Yeah.
you buy $1,000 car, you can put whatever like you have to get tires that last, but I think it's a controlled tire, a cage that's CAMS approved or whatever it is, and then also a harness and a bucket seat that are both CAMS approved.
Old mate that had the Starlet has another one
I heard
for the
about
same
it.
price. It is not as nice. I reckon you could offer him $800 for it.
So you just given us a 15-minute spiel about how the one that you bought that was the same price that is decently nice is about to kill you at any point, and you're saying go buy this one
Yeah,
for the
go-
same
go
price.
buy the
and
other
it's
one
a
that's-
lot
that's
worse than
not
the one
as
that I
nice.
bought. Yeah, mad.
I'll
Yeah,
trust that. I'll trust that.
The
trust
interior
that.
was nicer than mine. So it kind of smells like urine. I forgot to mention. So the whole drive home, windows are down. I'm freezing my ass off, but I'm like, I can't deal with this smell. It needs some love. I promise. Adam saw when I first got my Starlet, like,
Yeah. To be fair, it needed some work.
Mhm.
It
and I
some
did the work.
Yeah. And it's much better now. Still clunks a bit.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
put your foot down, it goes, "Kung."
Yeah, well, that's the
It's nice.
gearbox. That's
Yeah.
why I, bought a whole car.
It's funny because
Yeah,
it
fair
feels like it goes "kung" because it makes power and it's going to take off. But
It,
it
does,
doesn't.
No, 'cause you can like grab the throttle, and, like, but you're not going anywhere.
Have you ever had a shitbox yourself?
No.
No, never.
No.
What is
I
the
feel-
cheapest car you've had?
Well, I've like had a car that was just owned by like my family when just like if
Yeah.
someone needed a car.
is that the
you
one that's
just-
right there?
Yeah, the Magna.
All right.
The mag
Oh,
the mag
yeah,
dad.
We're actually in a garage right now.
Someone sponsor us so we can move up into
Yeah.
the world.
No,
We're
that,
looking to upgrade to Adam's bedroom.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's about double the cubic meters. It's a really good setup.
it is literally the same as this room. They're mirrored.
Really?
They're
It
mirrored.
looks huge, mate.
They're mirrored.
looks huge.
No,
What magic have you done in there to make things
Nothing.
look bigger?
they're mirrored.
You spent a lot of time in Adam's bedroom, have you,
Mm-hmm.
buddy, mate? Yeah, right. No, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I have to kick him
Well, I
out.
have to bring my own towels, so I'll probably have to bring my own bed here as well.
Yeah. By the way, we're all moving in. We haven't
Yeah.
told Adam this, by
Yeah.
the way.
Be good.
Yeah, no.
Sleep
So
outside.
you've had a communal car that you and your whole family basically share.
Yeah, but it was basically only my brother and I. So
Yeah, okay.
it was just sort of
Is that like
pretty much a beta.
your parents had a car and then they
Yeah, it
just
was my
kinda let you guys
it was
use
my granddad's, and then he couldn't drive anymore, so then we just took it.
It's like a
But
run
it's
around.
going to be going to the tip pretty soon, I think.
Oh no.
Oh, you
it's
could buy it.
an L Auto, ain't it?
It's order, yeah.
Oh.
How's Zachary
Big
gonna
sad.
blow the absolute arse out of
Hey,
it?
Pretty.
Oh,
I was
it
gonna
love-
say I'm
it
pretty good at
loves
blowing
limiter.
trannies, but I was gonna say no, not right.
That's a weird
Oh,
sentence.
Zach's real good at blowing
Pretty good
trannies.
at blowing
was a drive shaft
automatic
anyway.
transmissions. Yeah. What was that?
It was a drive shaft anyway, wasn't it?
It was yeah.
No.
It was inside the transmission. It was a
Oh, like the internal shaft.
input shaft.
The input shaft.
Hence why it was
Oh.
so expensive to fix.
Like, yeah, I was gonna say, like, I thought you had a whole age situation where you broke the easy thing and then that.
Oh no.
damaged the-
I just went straight in, and all the easy things that should have broken didn't, and the one thing that should have been a lot better. Yeah.
This is Zach's Falcon, by the way, that he
Yeah.
blew up the transmission in.
and if you haven't
we
seen
discussed
that,
in episode 1.
episode 1 of the
that
Washed
you'll
Up
find
podcast.
on Spotify. Wait, what are we on?
Oh, we
we're
haven't
on-
spoken about this
We
yet.
are now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and it's on Podbean,
And YouTube.
and YouTube as well.
And probably some other ones, but
Yeah, so if
they're-
you want
they're
to
less popular services,
you wanna-
but if you use them,
if you want to watch us talk, you can see it on
Inferior
YouTube.
ones.
We got the angles going.
the
We've got the
angles.
setup.
Can even show you photos of the burger sauce hot cross buns if you really want to see that. You don't want to
Everyone
miss out.
exit.
Actually, next podcast we have to find some and we're gonna try it on the podcast.
Oh, do we really?
This
though?
game is never
Surely.
fun.
No.
And it's also so underwhelming. Like,
is true.
when I did streaming, they were like, I don't like jerky. They're like, no, but you haven't tried this brand. No, you haven't tried that brand. So I went and bought all this
Yeah.
different jerky, and I'm like,
And what happens if it
yep,
tastes
don't
good?
like that one.
What happens if it tastes good? And then
We're sinning.
Yeah.
Tastes good.
We've just spoken about
We're
how
big
shit
hypocrites.
it sounds. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I don't
Be
know.
like, maybe they were onto something.
Mm.
Back to food talk, because I'm hungry as for some reason. Adam feeds us every podcast. I appreciate that. But another thing that doesn't belong in food is popcorn in like any kind of drink.
Mm-hmm.
Like for some
What?
reason they do that at like movie
Popcorn
theaters. They'll
in-
put like caramel popcorn on top, but the cold like ice just makes it like shit rocks in your drink.
I don't think I've ever experienced that before.
Yeah, you're not as adventurous
Popcorn
as me.
in the drink. Well, I would probably see and go, "That's fucking dumb. I'm not doing that."
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas you'd be like, "Oh, yeah,
What have you
I'll
had for
give it a
dinner
shot.
for the
I'll
past
give it a
3
shot."
days? Burgers,
What did I have? We had schnitties tonight.
schnitties,
We did.
burgers.
We
Burgers.
bought burgers last night.
The burgers the first week.
I had a roast.
Ooh.
Love a good roast.
Yeah.
Love a good roast.
Yeah, it's good.
No.
Fair enough. You lads wanted to discuss F1.
Yeah, so that was going to be one of the
Oh.
biggest things. Adam, so you have a few little things you wanted to discuss in regards to
have
the F1
some-
world at the moment.
I have some ideas. They're
Mhm.
not necessarily like rule changes or like things I think should definitely change. They're just like shower thoughts. Like,
Yeah.
what if they did this?
Coming into the 2023 season,
Mm.
it's about to start. This is some things that Adam would want to change about F1
well,
that,
okay.
I wouldn't say
that-
change.
that the FIA hasn't thought about yet.
Can we briefly
an
touch
idea.
on? I am the F1 loser. I watched Drive to Survive. I got my first F1 tickets the other day to general admission. Don't know what that even means.
You're gonna have
But
fun.
I'm the base standard. You know, I'm your entry level. I will watch it if it's on, but I'm not staying up till 2 a.m. Whereas you lads,
Yeah, it was, well, I think I missed one of the races last season, which
Yeah.
was
you
Japan.
used to come into
It was
work
literally like
so
it
tired.
was literally
Yeah.
like the one race that was at like 5 p.m. It was Japan.
Mhm.
I
And you
I
missed that
one.
one.
I missed that one.
You were, 5 p.m.
That was pushing.
I don't even
That's
know.
my
I was
dinner time.
I was doing something. I was working. Keep it real.
Yeah,
man.
that sounds about right.
Um,
yeah.
But anyway, I was thinking there's two things. They're both about qualifying.
Mhm.
So one, which I think is a fairly simple one, I think it was George Russell that it happened to. So it was Q3. He had set the fastest lap, and then he binned it, and it got red flagged.
Automatically 10th. Surely.
That's what I'm thinking. You should lose 10 places if you bin it in Q3 and it gets red flagged, and then it's
What's
done.
Q3?
That's the third lot of qualifying,
Okay,
the last
okay.
lot, so the top 10 really.
So what happens is the first 20 go out, they qualify, and then after that 15-minute session, you drop the bottom 5, and then you do the next 15 minutes, you drop that bottom 5, and then they have like
going to
a
be your fastest.
yeah
time.
top
Yeah.
10 shootout.
So
Basically.
that is like if you get the fastest time in Q3, you're pole. So like basically, I don't quote me. I think it was George Russell.
So excited to go.
But yeah, so he set the fastest time, and then like a couple minutes later, he binned it into the gravel trap and had to be red flagged, and then no one else could race. And then he's like, "I'm on pole position." I was like,
So
But-
rewarded
I don't
know
for
about that.
binning it.
yeah, but then the same thing happened at Monaco with
"Yeah." When Checo spun out,
Checo spun.
and then they was it the signs hit him,
Correct.
so then they had to red flag it, and Checo's like, "Well, I'm on pole position now." I'm like, "But you crashed,
Yeah.
which prevented anyone else from beating your time."
And the same thing happened a year earlier at Monaco with Charles Leclerc.
yeah,
Yeah, the
exactly.
Same thing,
So like, I
same
reckon
track.
if you bin it, you automatically lose 10 places.
I feel that's a pretty good idea.
If it's a red flag. Well, actually, no. Anything. Because if it's a yellow sector, then they have to abandon their lap anyway.
If they cannot pull into the pits at the end of Q3, you reckon they should drop 10 places because if they binned
100%.
it.
Wait, what? So like,
But then
what if the car just has a mishap but it doesn't affect people though?
it's always going to affect people because it's going to have a yellow flag.
What if it's perfect timing to not affect people? And they still can't pull
Then
in?
I'm sure that people can step in.
Okay.
But like, are you saying drop 10 places even if you were the 10th fastest qualifier in
Yeah.
Q3?
Yeah.
So
Because
20.
because you stuffed up, you binned it, and then that's like ruined the qualifying session.
And you should have to buy everyone dinner that night. It's
FYI,
just
rules
like they
can
need
buy
to
dinner.
sprinkle dumb shit in.
Because
People like me.
because like I'm not saying that any of them did it on purpose, but you
You could.
could do it on purpose. Like I'm pole position. I'm just
Well,
gonna
like,
tap the throttle here.
Could
and
you
I'm just
not
gonna stuff
tactically
up.
do it with your teammate? Like maybe your teammate's going really good, sets the lap record, and then other teammate.
Well, there's
bins
there's
Yeah.
been some controversies about that.
It
like
has happened
back in the
before.
day. It was during a race with Fernando Alonso's one. None of this is confirmed. This is all allegedly.
Don't believe you, Adam's spitting straight facts from the news articles we
And
can't
what
look
was
up.
it that his teammate like spun out and hit the wall, and then it had to be a safety car, and he got like the perfect pit window. under a
Yeah, there was
safety
also
car.
that Schumacher controversy where he was
Yeah.
tied in points with some other person, but he was ahead because of more race wins, and
Yeah.
Schumacher just somehow managed to trip wheels, and they both ended up in the first lap or something at Japan or something.
Yeah, something like that. I'm not fully educated on everything.
I really, as like a newer person to it, you see him like touching tires, and then you see a mistake happen, and they're like, "Oh no!" And it's like, like I get people make mistakes, but it's also like the caliber of the mistake. Sometimes I'm like, should he have been able to do that? But I don't know. I know not enough about it.
If you want to watch something real controversial, you just got to go watch Lewis versus Max Verstappen in 20. You watched one of them at Silverstone.
I think I got YouTube, when YouTube starts feeding you.
Yeah.
I was like, I had a sore back, so I'm like just chilling on the couch because I'm nearly 30, so sore back things. And I was like, it was actually after we did the work go-karting thing, hence my sore back. And I'm like, I wonder what the fastest line is, because in go-karting is it the traditional line? It's not. Anyway. And I'm watching this thing, and then I'm like, can't be bothered changing it. So it started doing the self-feed me videos. Anyway, I got to that, and they had a full breakdown of that race, and I'm just like, oh god.
Yeah, it's a bit interesting. I like watching stuff like that. F1 drama is honestly one of the biggest things that keeps me into it. And I know that sounds dumb,
but everyone likes to have their 2 cents about all of the drama.
Yeah,
in F1.
I would love to know, do they let everyone use their content? Because, it seems like
Formula
all
One.
the F1 content on YouTube is so much more well-produced than, let's say, there's, UFC and stuff. They don't let you use the content, so you don't get those, episode highlights or whatever,
Yeah, well, it's not like pay-per-view or anything.
Yeah.
So you can just...
And I think that's really cool because, I think it ends up with this, high-level content where people can go back and grab old clips and, compare people's lines.
I think it's a good thing because, I mean, they're bringing so many people to the sport as well. And F1's always continually growing. I feel like it'd be just a good... It's kind of like game developers. If game developers said, nope, you can't publish anything about our games, which they did in the past.
Yeah.
They said, don't publish anything about our games.
For it.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? They don't let anyone make videos about their games, but in turn, it's sort of not helping them.
It's free promotion. I think, and, being the thing that kind of got me into F1, Drive to Survive was great for F1. It got they took another element of F1, the drama side, and showed it, which got people more into it, including me. And I think that's weird. I probably should have been someone that's interested in F1, considering my granddad used to always watch it. I have done my little bit of grip racing, so I understand how intense it must be. Not fully, but whereas I think a standard person that drives to work every day doesn't understand what it's like coming up to a corner and hoping your car stops as quickly as the car in front of you.
I don't know if you ever saw the Top Gear segment about Jeremy Clarkson driving an F1 car, but basically compared to a real car versus an F1 car, there's physically a point where you can drive an F1 car too slow to the point you will kill yourself.
Yeah.
Because you don't have enough downforce to get around the corner. You have to enter that corner at, let's say, 250 to create enough downforce to keep your car on the road. If you go 240, you won't have enough downforce and you'll go straight into the wall.
I would legit have that problem too because I'm such a reserved, I got to feel the car out and then I'll keep adding speed until I'm comfortable.
And you don't like driving anyone else's
car.
car.
You just can't do that. You don't
like driving anyone else's car. You jump in like Fernando Alonso's car and go, I don't want to do this. I don't want to break this car.
That is completely different.
No, it's the exact same, bro.
Really, I would probably freak out, bro. I'd just be in there oh my god, there's so many people watching me in this way. Come on, would you?
They would have 10,000 GoPros on you and you'd feel really
I just see me faint.
Yeah.
In the car out.
Yeah.
What would you drive an F1 car if you were given the chance? But it was at the end of a race, whole crowd's still there.
Yes.
Yeah. You'd have to. You got when is that ever gonna happen? It's never gonna
in this made up scenario.
It
will happen.
Yeah. Well, right now, it's not even a thing you'd think about. So if you say if someone randomly went, "Hey, do you want to drive an F1 car?" You'd be like,
"Yes, done."
Yeah, sure.
No, in front of that many people,
I would be
because I'd try to
scared.
egg on and go fast.
You would literally say no, would you? You would. Okay.
I think
I would be
if it was a
stupidly
V8
scared.
supercar, I'd be like, yeah, that's something I understand.
All right, you're
but to me,
Bathurst.
it's basically like chucking me in a fucking helicopter or something in F1 car.
So you're
the
at
math
Bathurst,
is different.
and the Bathurst 1000 is just finished, and Wincup or whoever, the Chaz Mostert, right? He's just said, here's the keys, mate. Here's the keys. Take my V8 supercar and do a flying lap, and hundreds of thousands of people are watching you. Plus the TV is still on, So everyone at home is watching you too. And they've gone, Lionel Banks, he's in the car right now.
Don't full name
Breny
him.
Beast on YouTube, Washed Up Club. Everyone go check him out. And then here's his flying lap. Would you actually go do it?
Yeah, because
Matt.
I think a V8 supercar would feel closer to something I've driven, you know,
Fair enough.
closer to a real car. And I think an F1 car, and it's because legit probably think it's in that same realm of like the endless videos I was watching. They discussed how like if you are not going fast enough, you
will
just go
die.
straight.
You will die.
Yeah, and that's math I don't like. I'm gonna come up to a corner like, brake, no, like,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Yeah. My mind doesn't work that fast. You have to physically be in a different mindset to drive those cars, and it's utterly ridiculous.
I get the same with drifting. I don't know, like, and I'd probably get the same if like you were full driving, doing like tweaks, you know, to keep the car going where it's going. Like, I'll watch and I'm like, I can see what's happening, but I can't react what's happening. And we'll see. We'll see when Lionel returns to the racetrack. Because definitely on my bucket list this year. Fix all 900 cars I own and
For the
drive
budget
one of them.
Enduro and the Starlet.
No, I've got to drift. I don't really like grip break.
Yep.
I've always just casually done like grip days, like nothing serious. But yeah, like it's been too long since I've drifted.
Yeah.
I went with Josh.
You're sounding pretty washed up.
Yeah. It's painful. Legit, the car just
Back when I drifted.
It legit is. I love you lads, you know, Zachary being newer to it. I have like the whole history of drift in Victoria.
Oh yeah, he's watched
You know?
Initial D. He's
Oh,
done everything else as
Did
well.
you hear about that? Were you gone?
No,
I
he was
don't
gone at
remember
this
it.
point.
I don't remember.
Zachary has not watched Initial D.
He also had never made a coffee before in his life.
That's fair.
So
That's cool.
there's never an instant coffee.
How do I make him make a coffee out?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I got him to get the big spoon of coffee
Yeah.
and a small spoon of sugar.
Did you drink it?
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
I think I did. I feel
Yeah.
like you actually made mine not bad. I was like, yeah.
I made a
I'll
really
do
good
it.
coffee.
But it was really funny when you walked in.
The rest of the coffee that made it to you from not being dropped
Oh,
on,
yeah.
on the floor of the
You can
garage.
tell Zach's a coffee noob because he two hands it, and he's like shaking, and I'm
I
like,
didn't want to spill any, and I got more on my hands.
no,
and
you
in
got
the
to
cup.
not focus on it. It's like magic. It's like your arm's like a gimbal or something. You know?
But anyway, you haven't watched Initial D.
No, have you?
Yeah.
What?
Mm.
You pick me as like the person
Then-
that would be.
Then he has the nerve to say that people call him Takumi, or I don't pronounce.
No, is
Forgive
it,
my
Is
pronunciation.
it Keisuke
Yeah,
or something
which
like
is
that?
the guy I can't.
Well, people-
honestly, cannot say these words.
13-year-olds on TikTok see the yellow FD and go, "Oh my god, is that the guy from Initial D?" And it's like, no,
Yeah.
he's a cartoon character. It's definitely not me. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just,
but I just find it so funny. You're like, people call me this, and I'm like, that's not the character that drives the FD.
yeah, I know because I haven't watched Initial D, but it is Keisuke or something.
Well,
like
put
that,
it
or-
this way: like you said it, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's not the guy that drives it, but I'm not about to roast him. Then Jai's like, you dumb bitch!
Jai fully roasted me.
Oh, Jai roasts people so hard. Like Jai's watching professional drifting, not tracing the wheel. Tracing the wheel apparently is when you whip the car in, and instead of letting go and letting the car self-steer, which drift cars do, you're meant to wind your hand on it and do the stanky
Yeah,
arm.
do
And if
the-
you're not doing that, you're not at the level of Jai, apparently. Who's a stunt driver, so I can't,
You
decline
can't go
it.
against him. He's a stunt driver, and it's pretty
Yeah.
good. He's a good driver.
He does some cool stuff.
I'm keen to actually see him drive one day.
I played Assetto with him and I still had a heap of fun.
Oh,
like-
okay, there you go.
He'll left foot brake the whole track.
Yes.
Like, so he gives you like this really flowy line that you can just follow. I feel like I had so much fun driving with Giles.
Yeah,
washed up.
I'm
I
flat
wanna
out
drive-
staying on the track. I can't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Seto's so hard.
I've
I
had
don't-
like no sim experience ever.
I would love to
I've done
take
like
your sim virginity.
2 laps
Yeah.
on some like F1.
I always
thing.
did the ones that because I went to a lot of gaming conventions because I was a Breny Beast. And like they're like, yeah, go try our F1 sim, and I'm like, yeah, right. I played a lot of car games growing up. No, it's not the same, and it's harder than real life. Because in real life, you have inertia, you have feeling. in the game, you're like, I'm coming up to a corner really fast. I don't know how fast I need to be going. And you either stay on the track
So get this
go
right.
off it.
Breny Beast gets offered, hey, do you want to drive an F1 car? And he said yes. He said no before. This bloke right here.
No one cares if he's a sim. Actually, not really. I'm sure you know this. The sim community are assholes.
Devils.
Oh, really?
All of you.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are so like my mate taught me. He let me use his sim, and I was like finally starting to get a hand of doing corners. And this is me who's actually done drift events and can drift better in real life than in this game.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to play with people. My friend's like, I'm gonna say no because they
Really?
flame you.
Really?
They will legit just abuse, and they're the biggest. I've live streamed a few times me driving. They're like, well, you're not left foot braking, mate. And I'm like, yeah, but and how would I do this? You're not left. Just everything.
Do you reckon these are people that then come to drift events and go, oh, if you just did this, like, I'd be so much better if I
I'm
owned a
about to
car."
put someone on blast, but there's a chance they never see this. I hope. I remember I was learning to drift. I had done like 4 events. It was probably just after I hit the wall, and I'm looking to fix up my car. And yeah, I hit a wall. I'm not very good at it. Don't know if we've covered that before, but I hit a wall. Yeah, and he comes up to me. He's like, "Yeah, I've got an S14. Makes about 400 kilowatts." So I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know that. I thought because he had a Datsun or something." And I'm like, "Oh, I thought you just had the Datsun." He's like, "Yeah, in a Assetto Corsa." I'm like, do not compare your car game to my real pain right now. You fucking I was shook. I legit think it's the rudest I've probably ever been to someone. He just like disappeared in my. He's gone.
He floats away.
But yeah, sim
That's
people,
pretty funny.
they take it very serious. And I do think it's an amazing thing that I wish I had at a younger age, or at least understood at a younger
This
age.
bloke here was around when the internet was
Yeah.
invented.
No, like we had like I think only the past like 4 years has it become an accessible thing to have in your house. Whereas like back in the day, it's like it was so gaudy to have some big seat thing in your house, yeah. And now it's like like people come to my house and they, oh, nice! And everyone wants to have a shot of it, you know?
Exactly right.
Whereas like a few years ago, it's like, yeah, that's my janky sim. Yeah, we play car games on it, you know? It's not, they didn't refer to it as sim racing. They
Exactly right.
Oh, you play Need for Speed? You know?
Need for Speed on the PS2 because and they don't have any realistic motion whatsoever. But
So we took me not driving an F1 car into me driving racing cars into sim racing. What are your rules about F1?
All
Wait, what
from
was the
We're
second
really off topic right now.
the second
Anyway,
rule
I'm glad that we
change.
all agree that if you bin it, you should lose 10 places in
I
qualifying.
feel like you should just drop to the bottom of because you've already worked your way
This
up
is
to
like
go to Q3.
if it's a red flag. Maybe it's just like a yellow and you come back on.
Does your
It's just
teammate
like-
count? If you set a record, your teammate bins it, should that record person also come back?
It depends on.
See,
No.
I don't really think that a teammate's going to do that.
I've seen a few tactical things in the
Well,
history
because
of F1.
your teammate. I mean, unless you're Checo and you're doing everything for Max, and then Max does nothing for you. Right. Another thing we can get to. Right. There's not many teammates in F1 that are out to help
their
their
teammate.
yeah, their
It
teammate.
seems very surprisingly
It's
competitive.
extremely competitive, even between teammates. Like Carlos and what's his teammate? Carlos and Shah. Both of them are out to win.
Can you do full names? Because like
that's-
I'm not on a first name basis. I'm sure you've met them all.
I'm sure you messaged them on Instagram and they reply to you like, oh my God,
sorry about
Zach
that.
Baldy.
Yeah, I was having a good
They're
conversation
coming
with
on the
Lewis
podcast
Hamilton.
when the
Their
season
social-
starts,
their
yeah.
social media team replies
They've
to
been
Zach.
asking me whether they can come on the podcast, and
Yeah.
I'm been saying, nah, look, it's a little bit too big at the moment.
We're
for
too
you
booked
guys.
out.
Yeah, too booked out for a couple of years. But I mean, your drive to survive, right? You would understand that. So I'll go all the way back to when Valtteri Bottas and
Thank
Lewis Hamilton were rivals. Well, no, they weren't rivals; they were teammates. But Valtteri was doing everything for Lewis, and then the time that Valtteri ended up getting unfortunately booted off the team in favor of George Russell, Valtteri then went out and he said, "Nope, screw it, I'm not doing that thing anymore." And he went out and did like, trying to beat Lewis in every single game that he could, and he was actually doing a really good job of it.
I feel like are we on Drive to Survive ability? Because I'm having
think so.
mad. I feel like Did he like final lap? It was like them two were actually against.
Well,
each
no.
other.
So Lewis was in contention for the championship, and he was only a couple of points behind Max, and 1 point could definitely help.
Yeah.
But Valtteri was going out, and he was setting the fastest lap at where was it? Zandvoort, I think. Something.
I think, I
You
don't
know how I know
Yeah.
I don't have experience with this? Because I'm like, I can picture the tracks. And
Yeah.
I'm like, couldn't tell you what it's called.
You could picture old mate going,
The
if
one with the
Valtteri
corners."
gets the fastest lap,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
will have the fastest lap
Yeah.
of the race.
And I'm like,
The person who finishes first will win.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
Adam, you're a dickhead. You're a bully. The whole Drive to Survive thing was actually really gangster because Maggie and I watched it together, and I'm like, this is weird. Like, she wants to watch the car thing with me, you know? Like, I was
Now
like,
we have to upgrade you to actually watching the real F1. Not
yeah,
the
but I
one
don't think
thing.
I could convince her of that. Although she does have a ticket with me, so.
Yeah,
fuck
you're gonna
dude.
have to now.
Fuck,
Yeah,
dude.
Drive to Survive is just like good entertainment and gives you an insight into some things, but
I feel
they
like if you want to
definitely
get into F1,
skew things.
you definitely need you can watch it and you can learn so many things about all the teams very quickly.
Yeah.
You can
Didn't you
learn
say
way.
it's on like KO or something? 'Cause if I can
Drive-
watch the races not live, I don't even mind. I just
You can watch
Yeah.
my
I'll
video.
just not
Yeah,
look
they're
at
on
the
KO.
Instagram page. How much does their Instagram pump out on event days?
Yeah, it's
right?
next
Oh,
level.
Yeah.
It's next level.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Number 2.
Oh.
No. We're discussing the sacrifice. I think if they're a team, they should have to lose as a team.
Nah, I don't think so.
It's got to be more fun.
Every driver's out for themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also don't think that they should lose 10 places. I think that they should,
If you
Go to
red
the
flag
bottom-
a race,
if you red flag
qualifying,
a
sorry.
quali, you should go to the bottom of your split.
Yeah.
So if it's
okay.
Q3, you go to position
Alright,
10.
Yeah,
Does that sound
that,
about
that
right?
makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember who it was, but someone was on pole and they red flagged it. It wasn't Checo, and it was, even though that did happen.
Yeah.
There was another time that it happened, or maybe it was second or something. I'm
And
not
it was
sure.
really
And I
obvious,
just
yeah.
like, that doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense to me. But anyway, the second one is still about qualifying. What are
Mhm.
your opinions on points in qualifying?
Is that a thing now?
No, I'm just saying, like, what if that
What,
was
so
a
they
thing?
get points for like
Ah.
placing in
So
qualifying.
it's like nowhere near as much as you get from a race.
Yeah.
It's just like a small amount. Like maybe if you're on pole, you get like 5 points.
Don't like traditional things like racing do that? Like the person that qualifies, I feel like we actually just do it in our drifting. I can't remember, but like if you have the highest score, you start off like 1 point ahead. So if there's any tie-breaking stuff, you qualified first, so you get that extra point.
Right. I don't know.
I think it's cool because I think doing a flying lap on your own
Well, it's
is
a different
level of
skill
skill to
to
racing.
Mm.
Yeah, because they always say that. They're like, oh, like, because, for example, Charles Leclerc got a lot of poles last year, but he didn't win as many races as
Yeah,
he
would have
got
given him a
poles.
really good upper hand to.
Yeah, because every time they were like, okay, he's on pole, but Red Bull have a better race pace. And it's like, well, then, like, wouldn't you just focus more on having better race pace than having better qualifying pace?
The aggression of like the racing though is so crazy. Like, the thought to come into a corner and cut someone like I don't have that in me.
Mhm.
Oh, they're crazy.
You'd be in the proximity chat going, sorry.
Yeah.
My apologies.
wait. Can we side quest this?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
let's do
fully
it.
support this idea.
Going drifting with Jace and
I thought you were going to talk about other stuff.
Yeah.
yeah.
Proximity
No,
F1 chat.
Oh,
side quest. Got Jace and Josh. Josh hadn't drifted in 5 years. You know, he was about as more washed up than me. And every time Josh like did something sloppy, he does this out the window, a little wave, and I'm like, Jace, what the hell's he waving? And he's like, he's saying sorry. It's so. He'd like come through a corner, do a sloppy like mungie or something, be coming up to the next corner. Out the window. It was just too good.
The fact that Jason knew instantly what he was doing based on the driving and the hand out the window,
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like, oh yeah, he's just being shit.
Nah, that was a good day. Like
It
Jace
looked
just
good fun on the
pushed
video.
Josh through a corner because the 34 was so much more hooked up than the 32 that Jace is just like pushing him in through the corner. And I've just never been in that. Like I'm legit sitting there like I could grab Josh's ear. I could grab him. I could just like. But yeah, my actual thing. A while ago, I saw on TikTok. I won't give credit. It's not my idea. Proximity chat in F1 would love to see it. Would
Mhm.
absolutely
like- I'm thinking even like real life F1. Imagine if they had proximity chat to each other whilst they were racing.
Yeah.
good.
That would be so
yeah,
funny.
it would be like the level of trash talk would be so good.
Because
like,
they really talk some shit about each other as well, like
Yeah.
badly.
Mm.
To the team
like
radio and
even
stuff.
the team radio stuff gets pretty rowdy. So like I'd love to see like, and then like I think it could even go further than that. Like imagine the mind games of it. Like
Yeah.
you're coming up on someone, I'm gonna go to your left, I'm gonna go to your left, and then like, dip on the right, you know. Do the old indicate
like
left,
the-
the roundabout.
The whole turn left if gay. Lewis goes, fuck, go straight. Oh, well, what do we do now?
I was like, you could just try and put them off. Like, you're overtaking, just like, penis. Could you imagine how stupid that would be?
I think I'd get the most enjoyment out of the petty ones
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Like gapping someone like, you're slower than me. Like, just to like sprinkle,
Or even
you
if
know?
you did like a fake fade out, it's like, you're slower than me. Or something, it's like, go fast.
No. Tactic behind them. You're like, I think he's getting out of my range. Like, start speaking, quote me right on them. Oh, that'd be too
Oh,
good.
I love
It
it.
would be crazy. It
Yeah.
would never happen, but it
It's
would
never
just
gonna
be
happen,
it
but-
would just be ludicrous.
I
really.
don't say never.
Imagine if it did though.
Zach's gonna have a lot of F1 drivers on our podcast.
We could put it to them. We can put it to Crofty. We can put it to all the guys that are going to come on the podcast.
Mm.
And yeah, I feel like we could do all right.
Imagine the drama that would come out of that. You wouldn't even need Drive
Drive
to Survive
would
anymore.
have a field day. He would be happy.
I would love it. I
3
would-
years time.
I'm completely happy to be the Drive to Survive like pleb. Like I absolutely love it's just so easy for me to consume, and I just need F1 to be that easy for me.
Mm.
The only thing is, and you haven't been at REIT long enough, Adam and Josh on the following day of the events come into work. got
Full
their coffee.
rundown.
You can't. Hey Adam, can you do that? No, stay away. And then the other side of that, Adam's like, and I'm like, oh shit. Like I feel like if I want to get in this year, I will have to watch every race.
Yeah,
'Cause
100%.
You need
if
to watch
not,
the races.
Next day it's ruined.
Because I'm pretty sure Jai watches some of it too, doesn't he?
I think so, yeah.
There you go. So you're going to be the odd one out in the office that doesn't wait up until basically opening time.
I was also thinking that like if it's at a stupid time, just set up in the office.
in your bed.
I'd be so down in your bed. And what?
Wait,
What?
are we speaking about sleeping over at your house or at work?
No, because
Both are
it's at
weird
it's
in
at
different
all it's at
ways.
all weird times. So sometimes there was some races I had to leave for work for the last half hour of the race left. So I'd like get it on KO and pause it, and I'd get to work and I'd put it on the TV, and Josh and I would finish watching it whilst we
Yeah.
did work.
That's disgusting. As well as if we're doing that, that TV in the office needs to be upgraded.
Oh,
we
it
have
is
the
shocking.
oldest, like, 56
I didn't even know that they
and
could
a
be
half
that
inch.
bad.
Yeah, yeah, legitimately looks like do you? And I'll go back to my gaming and old age origins. Have you ever looked at a game you played like growing up, and then
Oh,
you look at
yeah.
it now and you're like, crap, I used to think that looked sick.
Yeah.
And that's what that-
100%. all
Like
the
I'm
time.
sure there was a time that Danny and Jace looked at that TV because I'm assuming it's their old TV, and were like, looks great. It's
The other
hurts
day,
my
I
eyes.
heard that GoldenEye, like James Bond GoldenEye, is getting remastered or something like that, or remade.
Eyes? I've never been sure if that's a rumor because I've seen it like pop up in my feeds like
Yeah.
a few times, and I'm like, surely it's not that hard of a game
So
to remaster.
surely the pixel ratio is like 16 by 16 or something
Yeah,
like that.
you're gonna remaster it in a day. Like, come on, get it done. Like, stop piss fighting around.
That game probably like it's probably like a 2 meg game, like 2
Yeah, yeah,
megabyte
exactly,
game.
yeah.
The entire thing.
Do we have a number 3?
Well, we didn't really talk about
we even
it.
talk about
we just
No.
moved on from so points
Yeah.
and quality. Like
Oh,
if
yeah.
it was something small, like I don't know, if Pole got like 5, second got like 3,
What did they
and
actually
then
get in
third,
the races?
and then like third got 2 and then 1 or something. It's
I
like
think-
the front 2 rows.
Yeah, I think
Something
it goes
like
from
that.
25 and then 10.
Oh, really? All right.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then and 10 like 10th place is 1 point, and then everyone from 10th downward doesn't have a point.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And
Because
if
I
you
thought
get-
5 was a lot, but
No.
that's not.
It's
bad.
like could help you a fair bit if you got the poles.
Do
Yeah,
they
very
not
true.
do it to keep the? I don't know. Is there any years that where like someone's you're just like there's no way they can lose? Like, has there been years like that in F1, like where they're that far ahead?
Yeah. There's been a few times where like the championship winner has won like 3 or 4 races in advance, but I don't think it's really like it's usually always pretty close.
Yeah,
To be honest.
like it could bring these like switch it up. I think because like you're saying, like with Max, was it?
Charles is how you
Charles.
pronounce it. Charles Leclerc. He got a lot of poles.
That's a chocolate, right? Right?
No, it does sound like a chocolate.
It
though,
would
doesn't
mix up his like end of years thing though, wouldn't it?
It would change. He wouldn't have been close to getting the championship off Max.
Yeah.
But if there was like some closer battles, then it could potentially change
Be
things
the
up. Because I feel like it is like qualifying still racing. It's just timed racing.
Yeah.
It's different.
Is that why they're doing more sprint races this year? Because you can earn points in sprint races,
Yeah.
and they're upping it by another 3
What's a
this
sprint
year.
race?
Yeah. So it's like a short race. So like you do qualifying, then there's a short race which then determines the grid order for the main race
What's the qualifying for then?
to determine where you start on
In
the
the
sprint
short-
in the sprint
Yeah.
race.
I would like to get rid of that. And I would like to add this point system because I
It's-
think it's a cool
It's
idea.
basically for the viewers, basically.
Yeah,
So,
really.
yeah,
They get like
it's
2 races. The
2
sprint
races out
races
of
are normally sort of good to watch because they're like trying really hard to push. Whereas like in the normal races, they're like got to think longevity and play the long game.
They got to
or-
think
yeah.
about pit stops and pit
Yeah.
strategy. But
That's
sprint
really
races, like
interesting. I thought
like
they would have
point A
still
to
been
point
a bit
B.
reserved. 'Cause,
People,
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
don't
people
wanna
either
ruin your
love the
car.
sprint races or they hate them. I feel like it sort of ruins the qualifying, the sprint races, because
Yeah,
like
it's not
someone
as
has like a
engaging.
good day on the qualifying, and then like, because what did K-Mag get? Was that the sprint race after that, and he dropped back like heaps of places?
Correct.
instantly?
Yeah. So K-Mag went out early. Where was it? It was at I can't remember the
I
exact track.
can't remember where
He
it
went
was.
out early in a wet session, and everyone else was waiting. So he went out really quickly because the rain was coming, and he set a really like a decent pace for the wet. But then it started raining more heavily, and everyone else went out to try and beat K-Mag's time. And at this time, Haas was a 15 below car. This car was definitely nowhere near as close to Red Bull or Ferrari or Mercedes or anything. He went out in Q3, managed to get in there, did a lap when it was semi-dry, and then it started raining, and everyone else tried to go out and beat him. And this bottom of the grid car went up, and he started first.
Yeah.
So this was the first pole position that Haas has ever had.
Got.
And is this
And then it was followed by a sprint race, and he just got demolished in the sprint race.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I think the sprint race is really cool. I actually think it would be content I would be more interested in. But I think it, especially if you wanted to do that point system, would negatively affect it because the qualifying's its own thing. And then you're kind of doing this middle ground thing where you're making them do a little race to re-pole.
Yeah.
And I personally think, like, that initial qualifying should go into that first
because
pole.
like he got a pole but didn't get anything towards the season
Yeah.
for being on pole. He got a little trophy thing,
to play devil,
and he got to be the first
got a
person from
signed
Haas.
tyre.
Yeah,
Which sucks. Yeah, that
to
was
play like devil's advocate. Sorry, another word I can't say. We'll start a list of words I can't say, and then at the end of the year, Bible. Could people also be upset that qualifying in a non-race environment polls you for a race environment, and it isn't like the same skill, and maybe people get upset that you can start at the front but not be an aggressive driver or whatnot, and then hold people off or whatnot? Like, is that a potential
No,
thing that people get
because-
upset about?
No, because like the Haas car was like nowhere near on level with
Yeah,
the
I've
top
seen,
cars.
yeah.
So like as soon as he held his own for I think 2 laps
Yeah.
maybe, and then like just
It's like doing
just
this down the
they,
straight.
like
Basically-
they just warped.
I think it was as soon as DRS was enabled.
Yeah.
He was basically no. That's the worst thing. DRS is another thing that I think needs to probably get looked at.
Yeah,
Is
Yeah.
DRS a
drag
steering wheel thing?
drag reduction system.
Sorry, you're showing your wheels, yeah.
Nah.
You watch too much YouTube, my boy.
Yeah.
No, you're talking about what's that called?
That was a-
DAS or something like that.
Yeah, that
I saw
was
something about that.
that was a like design I think Mercedes had at one point.
Yeah, so that was a toe
And
in and then toe out. So basically, you could go faster on the straight, and then as soon as you had turn in, you'd toe in.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
it was
but
like
yeah, DRS is drag reduction system is when the wing pops up.
Okay,
So
and
it
what?
opens the wing, so there's less
And that
drag.
gets enabled? I'm so confused.
So
Yeah.
what happens is basically if you're at a certain point of the track, if you're within a second behind the car in front and you get to a DRS zone, which is usually a big long straight, you can press a button on your steering wheel and it opens the rear flap on your wing, and it allows you to get 16 kilometers an
Yeah,
hour,
something like that.
Something like that. Faster
Depending
down
on
the
the
straight.
straight, obviously.
I'm confused. Are you allowed to do this whenever?
If you are within a second of the
Yeah.
car in front of you, and there's certain spots on the track,
Or it's
I
not
don't like
raining.
that.
it's hit or miss.
It does create closer racing, but there's a lot more strategy behind it now where you can be basically following a car for 20 laps, and then on the last lap you can just go, oh, okay, we'll use DRS and I'll get
On
past him.
the list of random videos that I went off on, they were speaking about, I think it was a Donut Media video actually, like, is it F2 or maybe IndyCar or something? They have like a boost button that they can use
It's
for
in
it.
IndyCar.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That
I don't
one.
mind
like
the
that.
idea.
They
of
have
that.
like a certain amount of time that
They
they
can
can
use
use
it,
use the
yeah.
button for throughout the whole race.
That's kind of what I saw the DRS thing as. And I get like the zones, like if everyone's got the fair same thing, it's fine. Is it visual? Can you like I would like to be not like, oh, that person did it there, you know?
Oh,
like,
100%. Yeah, because the back
Like,
flap of the wing
oh, yeah,
opens up.
like-
Yeah,
Yeah, it's very obvious.
that shit
when it
looks so
happens.
cool, yeah.
it's wicked.
Like
yeah.
I love seeing like there was a car that did I don't even know. You'll know what event it is, but I can't even point you in the right direction. But it was that car that when they hit the brakes, I think it was in Hoonigan, and like all the flaps came up.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
They had-
yeah,
it's
Jim
like,
Carner. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like on all the fenders and everything.
Yeah,
They had,
yeah.
like-
Just
Yeah.
it looked like a trans like.
Yeah.
like,
It's like a plane when it
Which
lands.
was
Yeah.
It's
a
like,
funny
oh!
noise for it.
Yeah. Coming up to.
It was like a frill neck lizard every time it
Yeah.
got scared. It's like, ah, it's like, oh shit. No, I
Exactly.
know. Was that Ken Block that did that one, or was it?
I'm not sure. It might have been the other guy. I'm not actually sure. It was like some Subaru or something.
Yeah, I do know that. I do know the car though, but yeah, no, it
And
was.
they
a
did that
very cool
track
car.
that has all the hay bales and looks super sketch. Like it's like they come through this like slight corner along a like old cobblestone wall.
Oh,
looks-
the
it's
driveway.
really
The,
thin, yeah.
Yes.
What's that called? It's the Festival of Speed.
That,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Wait, Goodwood? You're talking about that?
Yeah.
I believe so,
Yeah.
yeah. And they just have all the crazy shit going on. And
Yes.
that car set like the record, but like that was where I first saw that car because like it was like a highlight video. And I'm like, that's
Oh
cool.
yes, yeah. Did you see the Ford Transit van do that one? By the way, the electric
Maybe.
Ford Transit.
It was just a big ass white one, yeah?
I think it was white and blue or something like that.
Maybe.
But it was like it wasn't really much of a van because the van was cut out and like they call it buttresses, where the van goes over the top and then it has like a big like fin in the middle. But the thing was quick. It was like a 600 kilowatt electric van.
I will be looking that up. That sounds
It's
pretty
very cool. Yeah.
What? Surely we put fins or something on the Starlet, right?
100%.
I got my little wing at the back.
Imagine
comes
you
up.
randomly stopping at stoplights and your whole car
Yeah.
going.
it's not even got any motion detection. When it's connected to the brake.
The world's most aggressive Starlet.
We won't even
Love
do
it.
anything smart. My hood will just open.
Every time you break, the boot just comes up.
Yeah. Race boot. I
Race
like it.
boot.
I like it.
Well, is there any more little F1 things?
No, that's
you...
all I sort of had written down. They were fairly basic.
I
One
had
that
one
I
while we were chatting,
actually
but I
would
forgot.
like to be changed is that quality crashing
Yeah.
one, because I saw that and it kind of annoyed me.
Yeah, I do agree. But one thing, as you were saying on TikTok before, how you were looking at the proximity chat, there was one thing you showed me on TikTok the other day of the last lap of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix with
yeah.
V10 noises.
So someone had
Oh.
took that lap and overlaid, got rid of all the car sounds and put the V10 F1 sounds over the top and matched it like perfectly. And it was a million times better to watch.
But then that got us thinking about the future of F1 because obviously, well, at the moment, it's a weird fact that they use. I'm 90% sure that they use E10,
And you'll never know.
and
You'll
we'll never know
never
because
know.
we're not allowed to Google
Not
on
allowed
this
to
show.
Google it.
But I saw somewhere that they do use E10, and they're looking at using E85 in the future to go 100% renewable, whatever it is. Because obviously 85
Is that
is
still renewable?
well, I don't think. Well, it's corn juice,
I think. All right.
byproduct
I
of
don't know.
farming, whatever it is. I
Better.
think.
They're going better.
Yeah, going better. So they're going E85, but they use E10 at the moment. But
Which makes no sense.
which makes no sense.
Pretty
why
sure
they
they're
do
on
it.
91, and you can't disagree with me.
Well, yeah, I don't know why they don't use 85 now, but they're looking at doing 85 in the future. But then everyone's talking about electric being the future, but it's not because electric cars are so hard to dispose of and lithium is so damaging to the environment as it is.
Yeah.
What about hydrogen?
Yeah, well, that's what we were talking about. Like F1, there's Formula E already. So F1 can never become full electric.
Exactly right. It has to have internal combustion.
It's too big for them to go, yeah, no, just scrap it and it's all Formula E now.
I would love to, I don't want it to happen, but I would love to see the reaction, like how uproared everyone would be if they were like, no more, we're going full electric. Like full.
I would stop watching it, to be honest.
I
It's not
don't
enjoyable.
think Formula 1, I don't think that they can afford to
What
do
if they
that.
had to make their own sounds?
No. it's not.
No, it'd be like, what, 370Z pumping through the speakers or whatever it is.
No. The
engine
drivers
noises.
have to. The louder they make the sounds, the faster the car goes.
But like it's 2026, isn't it, that they're changing over? So they're going like 100% renewable fuel, which doesn't mean the fuel itself is 100% renewable. It means they're like doing better than doing carbon offsets.
Yep.
To
Like
offset that.
paying government's money.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is
a
basically
carbon
it.
offset.
Plant some
That's
trees.
An offset. Yeah, exactly right.
So
Every F1 race, they point to a pot plant.
Yeah.
Carbon offset.
but I never see Formula 1 just disappearing. It won't be a thing.
It has to evolve into a 100% renewable fuel, which
The only thing that's sort of in the works is hydrogen.
It really like blows my mind the scale of F1, considering like I personally think a lot of other motorsports have died off in popularity, but F1 seems to be doing better than ever.
it's the pinnacle of aero and speed and everything. Like it is, if you all of the racing technology that you can possibly fit into one car, that is the pinnacle of it.
But like it all eventually trickles down
Through the other,
into like through to the other sports and then down into the production stuff. Like not within a year
into
or two,
the style.
but say like 10, 15 years later, it's like they've spent so much money and time to build this motor and transmissions and stuff that then the technology and the ideas that just sort of trickles down into the more affordable
Because there are some AMGs that are getting around with a lot of F1 technology now, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah, there is. But yeah, I just think that it's a really weird situation that they're in because everyone's like, electric's the way. And I feel like if you actually do research,
Yeah, electric is
is
not
the way.
How do they even go about it? Like are they going to battery swap? Like come into the
Well,
pits,
there was literally a
batteries out,
Formula E race. I don't know how long ago it was. The person who was leading ran out of charge on the last straight, and the second person was right behind him and
Did they
pushed him
just
pushed him
stop?
over.
Yeah.
Pushed him over the
Really?
line because he was flooring it and he ran out of charge. Just hit the back of him, pushed over the line. The
When-
person who was second
yeah.
got third because
'Cause he
someone
would've got penaltied or something?
someone overtook and was like in the middle on the finish line.
No, that's so funny. That's so interesting.
Yeah. What was
They
it?
just have like a battery bar,
I
like,
don't know.
and it's like an iPhone where you're like 1%.
Have you ever tried to watch a Formula E race?
I can't.
Oh, it's
It's
so
horrible. I
I
strange.
didn't know it was a thing.
It's so
Really?
strange. They're like, oh, and away we go, and it's silent, and it's just the whole. But they're like fully like enclosed. They can just
Yeah.
bang against each
Well,
other.
you know, if it goes big, they could listen to the WashedUpClub podcast while the.
While they're
Yeah,
because all
literally.
you hear is the commentators yelling. It's like imagine just watching a race where there's just nothing happening.
I need
It's
some.
like
I need some Japanese
so
commentary.
I went to the tennis the other day, right? The Australian Open, and it was the weirdest atmosphere because you go. I know it sounds weird, but you go in to watch world class tennis. I was watching Novak Djokovic play, and the crowd is like dead silent. No, you can't hear.
Polite.
What's that?
They're polite.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I could imagine
I wish
going
the
to an
world was
F1.
more like that.
Yeah, I agree.
As much as I'm not really into tennis, I just
I've never
anxiety
been to
filled
tennis.
asses.
I've never been to
Yeah.
tennis, but it would just be like you couldn't even
Imagine
you wouldn't even be
going
able to
to-
have a
yeah.
conversation.
Like
imagine going
I
to
was
tennis with
whispering
the
to Sarah.
Work.
Oh, I would not work. Go to tennis
Everyone
with,
from work.
with all,
Oh,
the whole
no.
keeper crew.
Oh
Oh,
no.
Someone falls over.
Jesse's
turn!
Jesse's getting kicked out.
Yeah, everyone's getting kicked out.
I don't think they'd let us in.
No, we wouldn't make it past the
definitely
door.
not. No, but yeah, it's the weirdest thing. You go watch like the top tiered like tennis. I was watching the world number 3 tennis player, and everyone's just dead silent. It's weird, but I could imagine Formula E would be the same. You just watch it like 20 cars go past, and it's all. Then it's like, oh.
It's just
Do they cheer? Do you get cheering at F1?
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
at F1, yeah, 100%.
Unless Formula E was that quiet, you had to like let the drivers concentrate.
No, the drivers concentrate.
No. They're like, drive past you, just hear someone like their notifications and just
Yeah.
like.
It's just weird to watch. I can't watch it personally.
Yeah, I tried. I was like, I'm intrigued. So
Yeah.
I went to watch one. I think I only got halfway through it. And I was like, this is so boring.
What if they did driverless cars
Nah,
No.
and then they could bump each other
nah,
on it, like Death Race or something, you know?
nah.
Death race.
Like,
If you're talking to like
I want Robot Wars Cross E.
like AI Mario Kart.
Yeah. Like shooting shells at each other, but they're not actually.
Yeah, like Robot Wars races.
I loved Robot Wars so much.
I feel sorry for the robots in Robot Wars, bro. I know it sounds dumb, but man, when they
I-
get chopped up and
you
shit,
know,
it's
I did the old you meet your heroes or whatever. I remember I was having a mad vibe. Like Robot Wars was so gangster, and then they had a 3D robots game on like Miniclip or something. May it rest its web browsing soul. I think Miniclip's gone now. I can't remember.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Aw, big sad.
Yeah, and like I had this like, I want to watch Robot Wars and chuck it into YouTube. God, that was crap. So crap. Like
Yeah.
they're like, and salad spitters coming at dick face, and I'm just like,
What?
yeah, they had names.
Okay.
And then like one of them would flip over, and the other one's like.
Yeah, the other one's got a big camera, so like bang, bang, bang. It's like, okay, that one's dead.
I think the other one lost. Are we gonna call it? And like, nah, they just keep pushing
I
each
love
other.
when they ram each other into like the really horrible setup, like things
That
like the
does not-
sword
yeah.
that does something and it comes out the ground and literally just pops them up on their
Yeah,
wheels or
yeah.
something. But yeah, no, Robot Wars was gangster.
Yeah.
But yeah, I talking about fuel, which we went off on another crazy tangent again.
The
Fuel.
whole point.
I've got more things to say about the stuff, but we'll go on.
Oh, do you
we'll
actually?
come
No,
back
go-
to it.
go for it.
We'll-
Fuel.
We'll come back to it.
We'll always remember the fuel. We won't remember what you're about
I was
to
gonna say,
so-
like, how Formula One is sort of still blowing up
yeah.
is a very good thing for us, because if people are interested in motorsport, and
Mhm.
even if it is that at that level, and it's a level that can't go electric, that just won't happen. If there's that many people who are interested in it and don't want it to go away, then they're going to keep developing new things.
And fingers crossed they develop hydrogen.
Fingers crossed that they
Yeah.
do something like that, because
What's
then
hydrogen?
it's just I don't know the full science behind it.
Can we
but
go better fuel? Is that what we're going
It's
for?
a different,
The
yeah, but you
only-
can convert
Yeah.
normal cars like that we have now to hydrogen.
Basically, the only byproduct of hydrogen is water vapor. That's what comes out of your exhaust is steam.
Yep.
So
Mm.
it's a completely renewable energy or
Yeah.
renewable fuel source to the point where you are not creating any carbon, and we can use our hundreds of years, or not hundreds, but our decades of years of combustion engine technology, because it will still work with hydrogen. So there's no point us, completely changing to electric cars if
Yeah,
we
that's
can
cool.
find a fuel source that's going to work.
There's actually, so do you guys know the engine manufacturer Cummins? So they make
Yes.
diesels and
Yes.
stuff. So they actually make building hydrogen Cummins motors at the moment,
Ooh, okay.
and they're using the same blocks but a different head.
Mm.
So that's all they've changed. Well, I'm sure there's other stuff going on,
No,
but
that's it.
but they've changed the head, and it's actually, they said you can run it. I don't know if it was if you had that head, you could run normal diesel and hydrogen,
That's cool.
or if like it was, you had to do something, but like that motor that they built could run on either. But you had to do something to change it over. So like they are developing all this sort of stuff. They've had one. They converted one of their most popular ones, which was the 6.7 liter, I think, and then they had like some crazy truck motor that they did it to. But like what I was saying is, if this many people and heaps more people are still getting more involved in F1, then they're going to develop it and they're going to want this stuff. They're not
Yeah.
going to want to go electric if they're like,
Do they make it like different sounds?
they sound like a normal car.
It'd be really weird if it sounded
It's
like
still a
bubbly
combustion
or
engine.
water
Yeah.
splashing
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
Some jets and ours
It's still a
cars.
combustion engine. Like Toyota's developing stuff. They had a
They have a race car.
yeah, they
Toyota
had a
have race car.
Yaris. They had a Yaris that was on hydrogen.
And there's also
Definitely something
Or was it a
I will
Corolla?
look
there's
up.
also
It might
some
have been
Japanese cars that I think there is a Toyota in Japan that currently runs on hydrogen,
Mm.
and they're trialing it or something like that. But there's actually consumer cars you can buy that have this.
That's really
But-
cool.
The issue with hydrogen being it is incredibly unstable to the point
Yeah.
where if you were to crash and you manage to upset the hydrogen, it's a big explosion.
Oh,
Yeah,
alright,
so
alright.
that's what they're all struggling with. I'm pretty sure.
Transporting hydrogen is a very expensive and costly task. So the fuel itself will be expensive because
And that's the problem, is making it more accessible and
making it
workable.
safer for
Yeah.
like if we literally put it in our cars right now and we just hydrogen straight in the tank and then we ended up getting in a T-bone accident. That's very bad for what could
We'll
be the
become
possible outcome.
astronauts.
Yeah, basically, yes, yeah. But it'd be water vapor only. Be sick.
My memory is a bit fuzzy, and we can't Google it. But I swear, years and years ago, there was a lad that like made a car that runs on water, and then he mysteriously died.
Disappeared. Yeah, there's been a
Yeah.
few, a few
And
of that.
I find that I'm not a huge conspiracy guy, but those ones fascinate me. It's like, and he was about to invent, and then it's like mysteriously went missing. Like, they're so fascinating. I'm not smart enough to invent
Oil
something to go
companies
missing.
have so much money.
Yeah,
It can happen. And think about if hydrogen came about, they would all lose all their. See you later. All of a sudden, oil was not worth anywhere near as much as what
Need
it was.
some oil in the engine. That's not near enough.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, like fully unqualified to be talking about that whole time.
Oh, no,
I'm
definitely.
I'm a
I-
complete professional. I fully understand.
the only one that's a mechanic has not heard about this.
It's just like random bits and pieces of information that I've sort of
Yeah.
picked up from stuff, but I just I know that EV is definitely not the way. There has to be something. It's got to be another way.
So, yeah, as we were saying before about this TikTok about these V10 engines,
Yep.
hydrogen.
Oh, that's where that story
Yeah,
started from.
This is
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
this is where the story started
Yeah.
from. Is the fact that at the moment we're running V6 because it's less emissions, right? If there's no emissions to be created, why can't we go back to V8 or V10?
Just bring it back.
Bring it back. Bring back.
Bring the noise back.
It's not even happened. We're like 10 phrases ahead. Like, hydrogen's here. Bring it back.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like it's like F1 V10s were the best sounding cars in history. They absolutely scream, but
Never heard them with my own ears, and I find it really hard to like
picture it.
picture something
Yeah,
in a video.
I've
you
never
don't-
heard any of the other one, like the loud ones, but apparently it's like stupid loud.
Ear piercing. Like you take headphones and earplugs to the race and it's still loud, sort of thing.
Well, they're
Yeah.
V10s that are revving, was it 18,000
18,000,
RPM?
19,000 RPM.
That's hectic.
Oh, so I was watching.
That's like two RX-7s.
I was watching Drift Games, and they had like a Red Bull had a demo where they were doing a V10 down like a strip in Ireland or something, and like it's just so funny to hear this like it's ear piercing, it's and then like we're just gonna do it down the street.
Yeah.
There's probably people that don't want to be involved in this situation, And then they had I forget Shannonhands, the drifters, doing drift demos down that same street that's mostly straight and a metal fence in between them and cars. And I'm like, damn, the rules are a bit different around here. Like, we have to calculate, like, okay, so the cars are drifting that way. Someone's watching from that way. What if a rock flicks up from that way?
Yeah, legit.
It's crazy.
Don't have to worry about how much pollution we're putting into the air.
So what's a F1 car now then? What will I go and be here?
1.6 litre V6.
Yeah, the Starlet's nearly there, mate.
I don't think the Starlet produces almost 1,000 horsepower,
Yeah.
but yeah.
It's
If I
incredible.
keep buying them, probably at some
Might have
point.
1,000 horsepower worth of Starlet.
Yeah. So
Owns
that's
every single Starlet in Australia.
Bro, the numbers are getting slim, honestly. It's rarer and rarer to see a good Starlet pop up. That's the first time this sentence has been ever said.
The Starlet was an investment.
It was an investment.
It was.
I reckon they'll go up in price.
Oh, for
Surely.
1,200, I could clean it up and sell it for 3, I reckon.
Yeah. Now you just told everyone on the podcast your
Don't
plans to
care.
flip it.
If anyone wants to buy my Starlet without me cleaning it up for 3, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, fair enough.
Reach out on WashedUpClub on all of our socials.
Make sure to write us
W-
5
what-
stars on Uber.
Yep.
As you're there.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah,
Yeah.
you'll be hearing a 1.6 litre turbo V6.
Oof. So they do big doses. I would enjoy
Imagine. Imagine, that'd be crazy. That'd be so cool.
You got
Have
the
you heard,
Jason Farron of like F1 cars. Like, just like,
Have you heard?
No, Bob.
Have you heard of F2 flutter? Like Formula 2 flutter?
No, I haven't actually.
I
Dude,
didn't
they
know
have
that
some
was-
big turbos,
Really?
and they like fully dose, like
Yeah, right.
hectic dose.
That's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
we'll have to
you-
watch it after the podcast.
Did
but
you guys see the Duracell battery promo on one of the
Yes.
cars?
Yes.
Yeah, I rate it. I reckon it's cool.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
100%.
yeah.
So we've seen all of the liveries that have been released so far. You've even seen
I've
them?
seen some of them.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So at the point of recording this podcast, we're only up to Alfa Romeo.
Correct. Yes.
So just for everyone.
No,
listening.
we've seen them all. We're not dating anything.
we're just not going to talk about half of them.
No, I think I've seen like 3. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not.
So far, I think we can point out Red Bull, Mooring, the same thing. They've
I'm
done,
pretty certain that was last year's car.
Yeah. I've noticed one different sponsor, but it's like a tiny little minuscule
Yeah.
thing on the bottom.
I'm
of the floor.
pretty sure they just brought last year's car out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alfa Romeo though. Ooh,
All right.
it looks good.
I
Alright.
really wish I was allowed to use my phone right now because I want to join in the oofing.
Alright, it's the black and red car.
Wait, was there a black and gold one? Was that Haas or something?
No, it was all Rich
Nah.
Energy. You're watching
Oh,
too much
yeah.
donut media, my friend.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
That was really interesting.
It was a
video,
good one
though.
actually. Yeah.
The new Alfa Romeo one, I think it looks cool, but it doesn't really look like Alfa Romeo.
No, it doesn't at all.
It looks sort of more Ferrari. Not that Ferrari would do that. There's too
No.
much black and not enough red. But Alfa Romeo needs white on it.
Do you like
Yeah.
like the older liveries? I feel like I'm a sucker for whenever I see like the old car Sonic like R32, I think it was, and like older style liveries just
Yeah.
hit harder for me, and I'm not sure if it's just because like I just saw it for years in the
I'd
background.
say it's just
like a nostalgia thing.
yeah, nostalgia. So you just think that it's better.
I guess you can't really pick like what liveries now would be.
Yeah, like
Like that
what
future.
livery this year is going to be nostalgic in 10 years time?
It's like you're not going to look back at the Red Bull livery in 40 years' time and go, "Wow, that was a cool livery."
Well, it'll look exactly the same. So
It'll be the exact same livery.
yeah.
Or like, I wonder what Ferrari's going to do 40 years from now.
I wonder if
Ferrari really?
I wonder if they're going to
wonder-
do red.
yeah, they might be red.
That's crazy.
imagine that though. They're just like just next year green.
Dude, they put like they had like one race where they put a little bit of yellow in their car last year, and then the
Yeah.
drivers were in like a yellow suit.
It looks so bad.
Would it
bad.
not look like a McDonald's fries?
The car
Oh, it was
itself
bad.
looked okay, but they had the drivers in full yellow race. Oh, it was
No,
not
the
good.
driver
It was
definitely
not
has
good.
to match.
It was not good.
Yeah.
Um,
I wonder if the Mercedes will go back black this year because they
I
did
have to say
silver.
that the black was really cool.
The black was cool.
I did like
But
it.
now there's so many black cars now.
That
I
is
don't
true.
think
Haas
it
is going
shouts.
black.
That
and
is true. I think
yeah.
that's where Williams stands out because of freaking blue
I like that.
and
blue.
Alpine.
Yeah.
Is that dark blue color?
Williams is the dark,
Dark
blue,
blue, yeah.
and
Yeah.
Alpine's a lot brighter. They normally have like pink as well. But
I wonder if
I
like Alpine would bring back the pink.
I cannot
like the
stand
pink.
that that's
Mm.
Alpine.
yeah, I know.
I'm like, I like read it so many times. I'm like Alpine.
It's
and
French.
Then, and then they come up and they're like the Alpine cars. And I'm like, what? I thought I nailed that one. Nope.
One that I didn't mind from last year was McLaren at their Asia one.
Oh
Their
yeah, in the Golf
Asian
livery, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember what
You're
they
gonna have
called
to
it.
overlay so many photos of cars.
like the Ford GT Golf livery and stuff. Like it's like
Yeah, yeah.
McLaren did a
Another
throwback to that.
vintage one I love.
Yeah, yeah, exactly right. Like there's no liveries today that'll be like I don't think will be cool in 40 years time. But yeah, they did the old retro Golf livery and oh, it was so pretty,
You know,
so pretty.
you know what I think it could be as well is like it was the development time of liveries. You know, so,
Yeah, I guess
the
so.
development stage went from like just some text to like designs to now we have like drift cars with full. You know,
yeah,
cra-
yep.
Yeah.
And now that's a standard, so every car has that. It's no longer like a thing to be like stand out. Everyone has it.
Mm.
Yeah.
And maybe that could be something that makes it hold a bit of value. And then I'm sure in a few years when they do something different that like no one's done before, that will be that thing that we're like, oh, you remember when they added the things flip up and on the inside it glowed or something?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just a thought.
Underglow on an F1 car would be pretty sick.
Oh,
Underglow's
Oh.
back.
the Underglow's back. It's coming back for its like fourth rerun.
Yeah.
There's always like one random year. Underglow's back, and then it just disappears.
I've been that random all 4 iterations.
It would be cool in F1 cars. Imagine Abu
that would be
Dhabi.
sick.
That'd be so cool.
Underglow tech's come a long way too. Like I remember like
Yeah.
fluorescent tubes under the cars in like Fast and Furious. Now we've got like then there was music-based LEDs. Now it's like people like legit like. It's like
Like Tron cars.
looks like my
almost, yeah.
computer. You know, fire it up.
Wasn't there a thing on Lando Norris's car last year, and it was like a digital screen, but for advertisements inside the halo. It was like one
That's
race or
cool.
something.
I don't know.
So when they had like the on car cam where you could see the halo, it like
Little
had
carousel.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Like I was trying to look for it because they talked about it in a race.
That's the new livery. The whole car is just a screen. So like, you like come changing livery throughout the race. It'll be cool.
Someone should make a mirror F1.
Could we talk about one of the best things about F1 now is the fact they have like the in-helmet cameras.
That is so
Oh
cool.
my god!
Surely you've seen that.
I just thought that was a normal thing.
No, this is brand new as of last year. Yeah,
Yeah.
Drive to Survive, baby
That's
sort
cool.
of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool.
very
I like
cool.
that.
So cool. Like that's the closest you can really get to like seeing what they go through.
You know how
Watching
much I
Leclerc
hate
going
that
through
halo,
the
but I
rouge.
have total respect for the safety of it.
Yeah.
I hate it, but
Yeah.
I'm like, why did we not do this sooner? Like,
It literally saved Joe last year.
yeah,
like
the head one.
Yeah, yeah.
100%. Yeah.
it saved his like he would have been flat on the ground. Like it would have been bad.
There's been a few people that it saved
Yeah,
because there was Joe. Obviously there was Lewis.
Lewis with.
I think I was thinking
Verstappen.
the Lewis one.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was Lando as well.
hmm
Then there was
Imagine
Charles.
proximity chat in that moment.
Oh.
Did your car on my head? Like,
I bet you wouldn't have heard Lewis going, my neck. Just saying. Did you hear much about that?
no.
So when Verstappen ended up on Lewis's head, basically, Lewis was complaining about a sore neck for the next 2 weeks and up until the next race. But weeks, like the week before, he was at Met Gala and he was going and doing modeling and everything else as well. But yeah, no, he had a really sore neck though because
Man, I've got that
it touched his-
30-year-old vibe with my sore neck. Everyone notices because I start turning with my waist. But it always seems to be my aunt. Like we'll be going for a drive somewhere. I'm like, what? And she's like, have you hurt your neck again? I'm like, how'd you tell? I hate being older. I'm the relic at work apparently.
no. I think most of
These
the people we
young
work
tech
with.
savvy YouTubers.
Well, I mean, most of the guys that work there are what 30, like 28, 31.
We got a good mix.
We have a good mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Few
think
young-
I like the fact we're all young. To be honest, it's good.
Yeah, yeah. I think if it was like that, like you couldn't have, I would not have had that job at like 19.
Oh God, no.
whatnot,
Yeah,
like-
no. I
Yeah,
would have been
no,
way
me
too
neither.
mature.
I would have got fired. I would have got fired real quick.
Yeah.
I probably could have done half the stuff I do now because I'm
Mm.
kind of same situation, but yeah.
Anything else you have on the F1 topic, Adam? or-
I don't have anything else written down about F1s. Did you have some stuff?
Not that I can think
Oh,
of.
really?
I'm very
No.
keen to see my first
Um,
race.
There's
Yeah, definitely. I'm keen for it too.
F1s is like an endless topic. It just never
Could go
ends.
on for
There's always
ages.
stuff to talk about.
We've almost
Um,
dedicated this whole podcast to it, and we haven't even scratched the surface of F1.
Yeah, I find it fascinating because there's like the surface level and like the drama and stuff, but then there's all this like technical things about it, like little
Have you
things
watched
on the cars
Driver
and stuff.
61 on YouTube by any chance? He does like really technical things, like
I think
especially
I-
What
last
an
year.
interesting name for a YouTube handle, yeah.
Yeah, Driver
It's like,
61.
Driver, I forgot the number. It's a number.
Yeah, it's
you know,
so
like,
weird. Yeah.
That's very
But
interesting.
he actually had a really good series last year when they were releasing the new ground effect cars. He was actually going through and taking the designs of the cars and he was putting them through like aerodynamic testing and everything else as well on models and stuff. So he was like going through how this would work for Ferrari and how this could benefit Mercedes.
I told
and-
you that's that YouTube thing.
Yeah,
that
it's
Yeah.
cool.
F1's
Yeah.
doing so good with like the free
Oh,
advertising.
God, yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, no, it's a very cool channel as well. But don't click off the podcast just yet because we're still going.
It's a very cool show. Stay, please.
Yeah, no.
I had something, but I forgot. That's why I
Oh,
usually
that's
have
good.
to interject because I'm
That's
like,
good.
now my brain is completely gone. I'm sorry.
Well, I've got one that I always like to talk about.
Let's go.
So we're all from different automotive fields.
Yep.
So if you're unaware, I do four drive, Breny does drift, Zach does
Did.
drip. Did drip. Zach does grip.
Yeah.
And
has mastered drifting already.
Master
And,
drifting already quit, retired drifter after 2 sessions.
Probably taking one
100%.
forward driving session to master
maybe.
I've
maybe.
mastered that too. It's easy.
Yeah.
I was a passenger of that one too.
Mm.
Crazy.
that. Are you doing it all wrong, mate?
yeah. I watched him do it. He's all right. Yeah, I got my license.
And it's the question: does power matter for what you do?
I like that. I think that was also on my list of podcast topics, so I'd like to have some credit for it.
Oh, get off it.
No, I think in drifting, it's you're battling grip. You know, you can get to a point where you just added too much power and you just blaze mode, and if anything, probably takes away a level of control because you have less throttle control. So I think it just depends on the series you're doing. If you have tiny indie series, I feel like you get away with like a 250 kilowatt car that can just chalk its 235s that you only need to. But then obviously at like World Time Attack and stuff where the tires like you gotta have a car that can spin that as well as a car that can hold up to trying to spin that. So I think, mostly not.
Yeah.
I don't think. Like when that crossed my mind for your industry, your expertise.
It's very interesting on my side with the four-wheel driving.
I want to hear it. Let's do it.
So with four-wheel drives, you never really need a powerful four-wheel drive. There's only certain situations, which is in the sand, if you're going up dunes, to be able to keep it spinning and hit it faster, and in mud.
Are you looking to spin? From the
Depends.
videos you were showing me the other day, it looked like you were like intentionally, like the whole point wasn't to get grip and move, it was to spin and gain grip.
In the mud, when you have like it's proper mud, it fills up your tires. So all of a sudden you got slicks. So you need to spin to throw the mud out of the tires, so then you can pick up more mud.
I never looked at it that way. That's cool.
So you need to
interesting.
clear your tread out. So that's like the really good tires. They advertise it as like the tread clears really well because so the mud comes out easily.
People can you get like tread lube? Is that a thing?
No,
So
I
D40 your
cut
tires.
that out. $1 million. No, just in the gaps though. Like the stuff you put on your shoes.
Hey,
just
you put tread lube on your Bruh, what the hell?
So that's why you spin wheels in the mud. And then in like sand, you sort of start sinking, and sand's different. I'm not super experienced in sand driving.
I don't understand the sand bit of it either, but I just kind of thought forward driving would be more of a torque thing.
A lot of it is torque, but basically, the only other time you need power, so you got sand, and then when you're in mud and you're trying to clear those tires out and get speed going, you need torque and a bit of power to be able to turn the wheels. But if you're not doing any of that stuff, you don't need power at all because you just lower your tire pressures real low, crawl over everything, get as much grip as possible without spinning the wheels.
One thing you actually made me super open to is the fact that the weight of these bigger tires and like the mass and all that. It's like, fitting tires. I fit them and God, they felt heavy, but I never thought that would be a problem for the car.
Yeah, so the size of the tires affect four-wheel drives like crazy.
Yeah, that's so cool. Your speedo super off.
It's decently out with the 33s, but like if you're in cars that are running like 37s, it's like 15 k's out.
It's no S13. That car real out.
I was gonna say, how out is your S13? Because I know my 33 was bad.
So I have a 4.3 diff and 15-inch wheels with a heap of stretch. So 120 on my speedo is 100.
Yeah, my 33, because I think they came out with 15-inch wheels or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I upped it to 18, and then it had a couple of cluster swaps and a couple of diff swaps and a couple of trans swaps. And it was 145 on the dash was 100.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was dodgy.
We have a winner.
It was bad. The rest of my cars have been pretty good because every car slightly reads under, and then you put bigger wheels and it just raises
it makes it right.
But yeah,
like
the Skyline was bad. But
right.
I could imagine four-wheel drives are a lot worse.
Yeah, I mean, they're not too bad. Most of the time, a four-wheel drive will have from like four-wheel drive Supercenter, which is where you buy all your really cheap stuff from. They just have like a GPS heads-up speedo. So you
yeah.
just have that, and it's like whatever tires I have, I just use that.
I always wanted to get one of them for drifting, but because I'm washed up and don't do that, because I thought it'd be cool to get your travel speed sideways instead of your wheel speed.
Yeah.
Because like only the way you judge your speed when you're drifting, you see like, oh, my wheels are going 160. Don't have a clue what speed I'm going, but that will be fast at some point as you gain your traction back.
But like full driving is weird because you can have all the power. You can have a decent amount of power, but you could be really heavy, and that just like then your power becomes more useless because you're so heavy and it's trying to.
I didn't even think
trying
of
to
that.
move so much weight that you need to have more power to then be able to move that weight. So like my car's fairly light for what it is, so it makes like no power, but it handles itself because it's light.
Yep.
So there's people that go out there in like Hiluxes with like nothing done to them, just put a decent set of wheels on it, and because they haven't done anything to it and it's just like a tub and weighs nothing, it pretty much drives everything because it's light.
That's what I wanted to ask. Like when you were driving the Troopy and learning and stuff with that lower power car, was that your funner moments because you didn't have a bunch of roof stuff stacked on and all that, or?
Yeah, probably.
To me, it seems like you've got full driving where you end up going off some trails and camping.
Yeah.
And then you've got drift car forward driving.
Yeah,
where you're
like
just
there's
reckless.
different. There's very different sort of
Yeah.
stages of full driving, I guess.
And I think it's a hard mix where like, are you making a car you can also camp, or are you making a car that might not come back?
That's the thing with four-wheel drives. There is no perfect car. No matter what you do, that's a compromise. So like I'm gonna run bigger wheels so I have a bit more clearance, but now I have less power. And then you're like, I'm gonna put a rooftop tent on because it's gonna make camping way easier, but now I'm top heavy and I can roll over easier.
Yeah. Or if you put big
Plus
cars on and you
damage
go, oh, I need more power, you end up having a very overpowered and unreliable.
Yeah, then you have more power and then you break more shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Because now you make more power, you're heavy, and you got big wheels.
I need the starlet of the forward driving community. I need something that like I can just go and drive and not care.
Probably a Jeep.
I love. Is this
like an older Jeep?
I love the Jeep. Like the Jeeps feel so zippy. They have so much lock, but they always bent the diffs. We legit.
Yeah, like they break a lot.
Yeah.
So what would you, if you were to build your perfect four-wheel drive?
That's
impossible.
It's impossible. It is physically impossible.
I think
Physically impossible.
saying your perfect four-wheel drive is a thing. What you envision is perfect.
Well, it's what I'm trying to do with the Prado.
Yeah. So where do you see the Prado going?
Well, that's gonna be like a reasonably capable car, but it's gonna have like touring
capabilities.
So camping is gonna be prioritized over the four-wheel driving side of things, which is why I've gone the rooftop tent.
Right.
And it's gonna be like have a nice rear draw setup and stuff in it. Which, if you wanted to go real four-wheel driving, don't put a rooftop tent on your car. It's just you don't do it.
Definitely, like I feel like I can see the top heaviness when we drive.
You can feel it.
Yeah, like it looks like to be.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up the guy I bought the Starlet off. He's selling that Starlet. He's like, I want to build a Jackaroo for. He already had one.
Yep.
And he's like, I want to build one for touring, and I'm like, an Adam thing, like.
Well, you can again, like you could go touring on a budget, and it doesn't like you would be able to do the exact same stuff.
Drive into your house as a tour to me.
Yeah, I agree. It's a long way from mine.
But like all you need, I mean, a fridge is better than an esky, but all you really need is a fridge and a swag. And
well, you were showing me your rear setup that you're envisioning and planning on getting getting soon. That was really cool.
Like,
I didn't think it had that the thought and calculate. I just kind of thought people were like, I need fridge, and so they
Give me fridge.
Give me a fridge. But
sometimes, yeah.
That's
That's sort of like what you do. You just sort of piece it together. And
it was like a little kitchen. It was cool.
Yeah, well, this was a full like, because that's what I mean. I'm going to set up for more the camping side of things than the four-wheel driving side of things. So I'm going to spend the money on the camping side of things so that when I go away, it's just nicer. It doesn't necessarily mean it's better. It's just nicer.
Yep.
That's all it is. So it's a big step money-wise from going, I'm going to go away camping to I'm going to go away camping with nice things. It's like, I'm just going to 10, 15 times my budget to do that.
Yep.
So it's
I would
a
go
big,
camping. We'll
it's a
sleep
big
in the
commitment.
rooftop tent together. All three of us. All three of us in the rooftop tent road trip.
I'll be okay in the swag, I reckon.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, all right. You and
Adam,
just you and
just
Adam.
Adam and I in the
Yeah,
rooftop
you'll be
tent.
alright.
But yeah, the 4-wheel drives are a funny thing because there is no perfect car.
Yeah, fair enough.
It doesn't exist. So you got Jace's F250, big car, tows really well,
I don't
heaps
know
of
how he
power,
drives
That
it.
thing's so big.
heaps of power. That car would be terrible off road.
We were having some fun with that car this afternoon.
It might not be. You could probably just go over everything.
Well, it's so long.
Trees.
It's so long that it's so you got your
Yeah.
approach
You
angle.
could just get stuck.
You've got an approach angle and a departure angle, but you've also got I forget what it's called, but the middle angle between your wheels.
yeah.
I forget what it's
the
called.
gooch of your car.
It's like say if you get the front over a real steep like rock or something, then it's just gonna bottom out because it's so long in between because it's
Yeah.
such a big car.
That makes sense.
Ooh.
That's
So
why I think your car. I love your
the
car.
Troopy, like let's say, right, let's
Yeah.
annoy Jason for a little bit, right? Let's say we're going up a really nice big rocky trail. Would you rather take the Troopy or the F250?
The Troopy.
There you go.
The F250 is like, well, the GVM is 4.5 ton.
Mm.
So it's a
For people that don't know, that stands for.
gross vehicle mass.
I actually knew. I knew that, but I'm like trying to think of something dumb to say, and I'm like.
But like the size of everything in that car is so massive that it's
Yeah.
so heavy. So
Yeah.
like the Prado is 2.3 ton.
Surprisingly fast that big
Yeah.
F
Oh
truck is.
yeah, well it makes 1400 newton meters and 380 real kilowatt. It's a monster.
Yeah, when we.
I reckon it would have my BRZ in a race.
The Starlet
almost.
nearly has your BRZ.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see. I don't know. It'd be funny, but yeah.
It
like-
would 100% gas you. Like,
Yeah,
like
dude,
Adam and I have been
we've
that
been in
car.
it and he's like launched it and it puts you in the back of the seat and
Yeah,
it
right.
holds.
It's just the weirdest feeling. She's like, this is bus size vehicle. Like imagine hopping on a bus and
Yeah.
like
It
just
makes you wonder about like the
bizarre.
TRX and stuff like that. Like
Oh,
the Ram
yeah.
TRX is 700 horsepower, freaking F truck looking thing. It's
Yeah,
cool.
that would be cool if you didn't have weight on it and you weren't
Yeah.
towing. So like
Yeah.
Jason's the F250. The F250 in my eyes is the perfect tow car. If you want to
Yeah, I
tow
100%
shit,
agree.
that's like that and up. So like the 350s and all that sort of stuff. That's like what you do, which is what Jason uses his car for. It is the perfect car for him.
Mhm.
It's way too high for what he needs. He doesn't need it to be that high. But
I can't like I still can't believe I was like, that's how that car comes.
no, it's not.
And then one day I'm driving and beside one, I'm like, oh shit, that's how they come.
It's a lot smaller.
And smaller, ugly,
Yeah.
like Jason made that car.
And we
cool.
were standing out the front with that car today, and I was just saying we're having some fun with it this afternoon. Like it is our head height, the bonnet. Like,
Oi, you
and
made
we're
your head
huge. We're such
We've-
tall guys,
I'm-
and just the head height is.
I'm
massive.
6 foot.
Yeah, I don't know how.
I love it when the boys have to work in the engine bay of the F250. They've like got full like, ladders set up
They
next
should
to
have
it.
use the hoist to lift a platform.
Yeah,
Up to
They
the
actually
car,
should.
Or like they need a down hoist to bring the car down.
No, it's funny. It's such a massive car. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, like if you took that to like Talangi, which is the local four-wheel drive spot here, it would not cope.
Is that
Yep.
the same spot you said last time?
I
The
don't know.
one near here?
There is no, that was Wesburn.
Oh, yeah. I was just like, they just don't save in my memory, bro. We're going to Talangi. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah, so that's what's cool about four-wheel drive world. There's no perfect car, so you can't go, nah, S13s are the better drift car because of this and this and this. It's like not a thing in the four-wheel drive world. It goes, this
fair enough.
suits
Yeah.
me the most.
Yep.
That's basically what
I
it is.
definitely think, yeah, you're right with that, though. Like, there is the car that's had the most time, you know, and you'd be stupid to, like, not start from this progression point and work onwards. I'm sure there is a car that's more suited, but then, like, the development, you know, like, I definitely think there are those cars that shine. And then there's the people driving cars that they paid to drive or something, and it's like, not performing as good in it because you're either not used to it or it hasn't got the market or it doesn't even drive how they're used to, you know?
Well, it's funny, like, I'm not going to say any names, but I've talked to some drifters, like, over in NZ on when we've had people at our events, and they go, yeah, well, because they're drifting a really cool car overseas somewhere on a different comp, and you're like, oh, how's that thing to drive? And they're like, I hate it. It is, like, because it's just wrong. It's all like different,
like,
and especially like newer cars. There's no visibility out of the cars.
They chuck a Corolla or something in FD?
Yeah, there's a Corolla and FD. I think it's Ryan Turk or something. isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, like the new Corolla.
And I'm just like, surely like the wheelbase and like,
That's a really unique.
aren't they?
It's cool, yeah.
I mean, there's a few.
They're cool.
there's-
I don't
Yeah.
doubt it, but like,
There's other cars in all that sort of scene that's like cool, but then I saw the Corolla. I'm like, you know what? That's like cool in a different way.
yeah.
I guess it's kind of like if you
So if
ask,
you saw a star,
like,
then up there,
yeah.
alright.
I guess it's kind of like if you asked Adam LZ, like, hey, you know, how do you feel about driving the RTR Mustang over your E36? It's like he would easily say E36 any day of the week. Mustang is ridiculously hard to drive, and it's not what he's used to because it's a V8, which he's never had in a drift car before, and it's a Mustang. It's a big, long wheelbase, and
I think
muscle
early
car.
on he would have said that 100%. Like obviously excluding any paid, promotion.
Yeah, correct.
But I feel like driving with Chelsea, like he's learned to like get
agreed.
this like weird like respect for the potential that car has in it, and just like I think they come off as a car that drives differently. Like
Yeah, I agree.
like it seems like you have to be like coming in backwards and match onto the person, and like I don't know.
Yeah,
that
you
level of
can't really
drifting.
dive bomb into them like he's sort of used to with all these like,
Yeah.
little turbo cars.
Like I
Yeah.
love all the videos and photos of Chelsea to know for like three wheeling just from pure like it's
those cars
cool.
have so much grip.
Yeah, they're such cool
Yeah.
cars, but
I love the photos of
Yeah.
like the tires binding up at the bottom because they're literally like the low air pressure and the amount of grip
like the
they have.
the drag ripple.
Yeah. How they going sideways doing that, and they have like 1,000 horsepower or whatever it is. But yeah, they have so much grip
They're
that they
pretty
just
cool
do that.
cars. Not
It's
the car
wicked.
for me, but I still
Yeah, I
have
100%
mad
agree,
respect
yeah.
for 'em.
But yeah,
How
I
about-
guess like all these YouTubers that we're all trying to like strive to have unique cars and unique builds, that we build something that's
Like a
you know,
BRZ.
And
on
RX-7.
RPF ones, don't you?
Fair point.
Yeah, you better look out.
Your build.
Have you
Your
seen,
build, your choice,
Have you
mate.
seen my Instagram bio recently? I'm the king of unique wheels because I got the T37s and the RPF
Ah,
ones. And
yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you guys better look out.
Fair point, fair
point. But yeah, no, I feel like so many YouTubers go out and they try and make a unique car. But at the end of the day, there's a reason that everyone does what is already like
Yeah.
sort of copy paste sort of cars because they work so well and you get so much bulk seat time. But then you build something like, let's just say, Rob
Taylor,
Dunn
yeah.
making
Oh,
a four.
yeah.
I love Rob Dunn, but making like a 4-rotor all-wheel drive thing that barely ever drives. He's the only one that does it, but he rarely drives that car because there's so much R&D that goes into it. So.
That's where, and I think that's obviously a big success thing for him
Oh,
to be
God,
doing
yeah.
something so unique like that. But there's got to be those days where he's like, God, I just wish I could do like 5 laps straight.
Exactly
And
right.
if he has done that as of recently, it's gone to that development point. But like when I was frequently watching his content, it was like, started it today. Got to pull the engine apart again.
Yeah,
kind of
and that
vibe.
was a viral video for him. Was
Yeah.
starting that 4-rotor for the first time
so
was
cool.
insane. He started it like his own little test bench
He
that
did
he
it,
made.
when he did the first like start and drive in the car, you could see
Yeah.
YouTuber was out of him. It
Yeah.
was, I'm excited to see and drive this car.
Yeah.
Because he legit just straight up like did it in his back night time.
Yeah.
Whereas a YouTuber would be like, I'm gonna do this tomorrow morning.
Exactly right. Yeah, make sure you get like decent lighting and make
Yeah.
sure it's in a proper spot. And I guess that like you were saying before, like with what you do you really think that in terms of YouTube, having a car that's quick is useful in getting content? Or like
No. I think it's the uniqueness. I think everyone's on the unique train and hype trains of like AUs coming up and
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
I think people want relatable stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
So like, I mean, there's two ends to it. Sometimes it's like the Rob Dunn thing. It's like it's so hectic that you're like,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
But if like someone's just deliberately
Rex H
like getting
is great at that sort of
Yeah.
thing because he's
Yeah.
got such relatable cars and a
Yeah.
relatable group of friends that he is going mental at the moment because he's got an AU, got the Chaser. Like the Chaser's
EL
awesome.
thing?
Yeah, the EL that he's just barra swapped, which is awesome in Australia. People want to do that all the time. Just bought a CE Lancer. He had a Camry at one point.
Yeah. I think that was Camry Daily vibes though.
Yeah. And then he had the MR2, which he ended up selling, but his friends still got an MR2, Lockie, and then most of his friends have S15s, and then bought the GU, which is another massive thing on his channel.
They
He's
took
got
that to our event to
GQ.
do their booth.
Yeah, was it a GQ? Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I don't know. Full
It's not his
drive,
expertise, Adam. Don't
living
Sky.
two-wheel drive sort of thing. I
Yeah.
don't know what but he's got such relatable cars, and they're all so cheap that I reckon
You
he's
can
done
do
really well
that
for himself.
relatable content.
Yeah.
The final question: power matter in your industry?
I think.
I think this is such an interesting answer.
I think
for me.
Yeah.
there was something very interesting that happened recently, but you go
Oh,
on.
bro, I'm
Yeah.
so pissed off about that.
So
We're talking
Where
about
are we going with
We're
this?
talking
boys?
about the Bathurst thing.
yeah,
aren't we?
the Bathurst thing.
All right. So did you hear about this morning? I don't know if I
Negative.
told you. All right. So did you ever see? So the Bathurst 12-hour just happened last weekend, and I watched a little bit of it. But did you see the race before they were doing like a Super Coupe or whatever it was called? So there was a 1100 horsepower Nissan Skyline that was a R32, right?
It was
And
gangster.
it fucking gapped everything on the straight. This thing down Conrod Straight into the Chase got caught at 327 kilometers an hour, faster than a V8 supercar in like a proper shop built R32.
Yeah.
But the thing was mental.
That's so
It ended
cool.
up crashing on like the second or third lap or something, but it was just a GTST making dumb power. Apparently, the fastest trap time it got in the whole track was 338 kilometers an hour. Anyway, it was that quick that Motorsport Australia are now investigating whether it was too quick for Bathurst.
It was too fast. This
fast
race car was
for
too
an
fast.
open class race.
That's so that has got to be the biggest flex. You know how people are like, oh, I can't go to the strip anymore. I ran a 10. They want me to
Oh
get
yeah,
a
they want me to put a
cage.
cage in it. This guy's like, I went to Bathurst. They let me in an open class race, and I was too quick for that race.
Yeah. The V8 supercars couldn't keep up with me. That's so cool. That's so
dumb.
biggest
Yeah.
flex.
It was fast though.
It was
like
quick.
they like got to the first corner and he's like sort of like with them, and then onto the straight, gone.
Yeah,
Like
he was.
nowhere.
He was, I think, 2 or 3 seconds in front at turn 2.
It was
from this,
crazy.
really cool.
But
yeah,
through
for
the
the-
corners, it wasn't as quick, was it? Because the
Yeah,
the
well,
car was like
this-
a Mustang or something behind
yeah.
him. But
This is sort of where I was going to say, does power? Power is not the be all and end all. Because if
Yeah.
he's not quick through the corners,
if you're looking at like, let's say a YouTube standpoint versus if you weren't doing YouTube and you were just doing like a track car, you look at the time attack builds and they have, big aero, big horsepower. But then there's a point where you have big horsepower, no aero, or too much like crazy aero for a low horsepower car. There comes a point where it's just you have too much of one, too much of the other.
I guess that's like with drifting. Like you got too much grip, not enough grip.
Yeah.
So if you have like too much grip, then you're like, well, then I'll make more power.
Yeah.
But then you have too much power and you don't have enough grip. It's like, well, then I got to
Yeah.
get more grip.
Creating a balanced car is definitely a big thing. And I guess it's a little bit different from full driving because in full driving, you can't have a perfect car. But in grip racing, you can have a car that does amazing through corners and is quick down the straight.
Yeah.
I guess you can create a perfect car, but
Well,
there's
yeah,
a
they're
lot of
always
different standards of the
striving
perfect car.
That like aero grip versus power, like just keeps doing that. Like,
Correct. Yeah. It's like a scale that
Keeps
perfectly
creeping up, yeah.
perfectly goes up. You
Yeah.
can have like the 32. You could have an 1100 horsepower car that's amazing through the corners, or you could have, like your Starlet that doesn't have any brakes, and it's like because your car has no power, it doesn't have the power to overcome the wheels in the corners. So you could be booking it in that thing. Technically, it would still be a balanced car.
Yeah. Shit balance.
It'd be a shit balanced car, but
Yeah.
you could still like.
It
because
would be
yeah.
equally shit on everything.
Yeah, equally shit in every aspect.
You know what I
Yeah.
think makes a huge difference, and I would like to see if it makes a difference in Adam's case, is for us, it's also track. If you got a track with a heap of straights, that powerful car that's got more power than grip probably is going to have the huge advantage.
Yeah, exactly right.
And then vice versa, if it's a really curvy track, the power, he's not going to get to use the power.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I mean, yeah, that would correlate over to my stuff, like depending on what sort of terrain you're on. Like, is it dry? Are you doing like rock crawling, or are you doing like you need to send the shit out of your car to make it up this thing? So like in the full drive world, there is comps, there is like the winch challenges and stuff. So then in that, yes, you could technically build the perfect car in that, but I just find that's just not really a thing yet. Like not that many people are into it to really bother.
Yeah, like no one's going to build like let's say a Summonet's burnout car. No one's going to build a purpose-built winch comp car.
Well, they do.
No,
They
they
do,
100%.
They are
do
100%.
rowdy cars.
Yeah.
too.
Surely.
Yeah, like
You'd be
they're
very impressed
They're
seeing those
sick
cars. Okay.
cars. They're so cool.
Like, and there's like the Baja cars. They're cool as.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, so like there is winch challenge cars, then there's enduro cars as well.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
There needs to be a competition for your type of car where you gotta like go somewhere, quickly camp for the night, go somewhere else, and then there's like a bit of off road, you know. It's
Well,
like,
they introduced last year at one of the more local ones. They had they called it a weekend warrior class, so they had to be street registered cars.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
So that was kind of cool because I probably preferred watching that because I was like, these are real cars.
yeah, it's a car you can. It's that
Yeah.
accessibility thing.
Yeah, literally. But yeah, there is proper race full drives. It's just not really a thing, and a lot of it just comes down to like how many balls does this driver have?
Fair
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
how much are they just gonna send the absolute shit out of their car up this hill? Like
Yeah.
it does
It's
come
very,
down to the
very
car a little bit.
driver, Yeah.
Because like I've never really been around it. I've followed our friends have like a GQ race car that they were in, and we followed them through the last Wild Dog Winch Challenge is what it's called. And that's like I can't remember what LS it
GQ
is.
race cars sound so weird.
Yeah, I know.
What?
But that's like it's got some powerful LS in it. I don't know what
Yeah.
they've done to it. But then I'm pretty sure it's got like a 2-speed in it, or no. It's actually that's probably
That's
wrong.
crazy, isn't it?
It's got some kind of like built auto in it
Yeah.
because again, auto is the way.
Can
but-
starting a bit of drama, mate.
Yeah, I know.
Auto's away.
Yeah. Well, when the high end race 4 drives are doing
Yeah.
autos, because they used to all be manual, and then now the auto technology can hold like the abuse.
High horsepower drag cars are auto as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know, we're just riling him up.
Yeah.
Just
Jesus
riling
Christ.
him up.
It's a 66% split on this decision right now.
There's a 66% split to go to our sponsor.
Sticker socials.
Yeah.
Who's doing the sticker socials?
Breny,
shot?
it's your turn this
Ah.
time.
So, as you guys will see, we do have a Washed Up Club sticker, maybe, on the Sticker
Potentially.
Socials website. So, feel free to check it out. And thanks for listening. Check us out on everything. Send us to your friends.
He didn't
You
even
know?
give a proper shout out to sticker socials.
I know.
He's like giving a
it's our
half-assed-
family company.
Do you want me to actually do it?
If you want.
Sticker Socials is a sticker company that can create social tags for your car. Go on to stickersocials.com. Is that it? Yeah, okay, there you go.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah, close enough. You kind of just said that we make Sticker Socials washed up club stickers,
Yeah.
but you do so much more than that.
Yeah, I'm trying to support, the team.
Yeah, I
The
still
team.
Well, the
still
boys.
probably hasn't I still probably haven't touched on everything. So go on to stickersocials.com, go check out the rest of his stuff because I probably missed out on heaps, and come back into the comments and roast me about what I missed.
Yeah.
There we go. Now we can start advertising to them. Good job. Is that the end?
Is that where we're calling it?
I think so.
All right.
Rightio.
Thank you all for watching. Rate us 5 stars on Uber and on any of the streaming the list streaming
Streaming.
podcasts.
I think it's streaming.
Yeah, streaming services.
that you're on.
Yep.
Give us 5 stars. Give us a follow. We appreciate it.
Send us to a mate. It helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right. Group kiss.
Kira Grill.
I was going to say group kiss, and he said group piss, and I was like, oh, close enough. It's
I
fine.
said
group
I
kiss,
said
mate.
kiss.
Oh, we can do a group piss.
Oh, did you say kiss?
Yeah.